What's going on, everybody? What's up? What's up?
Hello. I can't even see if we're up.
I'm going to turn this light down a smidgen. A smidgen is an official unit of measurement.
Yeah, it's a measurement.
All right. Welcome, everybody, in here. I see there's one person.
That's you and me.
Wait, they count us?
Well, because I might be on my phone. So.
Oh. Okay.
I'm looking to see.
Let me see here.
Looking to see if I can see. I'm struggling with my. Hey, Liberty, how are you?
Liberty, what's going on?
I'm struggling with my internet.
Technically, you are number one.
Yep. Number one.
Way to do it. We are proud of you. In more ways than one.
Mm-hmm. Very proud of you. Hey, Troy, how are you?
We got Troy from Bar Run Forge.
Mm-hmm.
We got Cool Gamer. What's up?
Hey, how are you?
I feel cooler when Cool Gamer's in here.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
We're super late here. Well, we're not super late, but we're late because we were struggling with our internet. So if we start going robotic, let us know. The internet's been really wonky. I was recording last night, and it looks wonky. It's wonky on here, and I'm worried.
Give us a thumbs up if everything's okay, because things are a little strange right now.
They're acting weird tonight. Okay, it looks better. Last night when we were recording for the podcast, my internet kept failing, and I wasn't sure if it was because everybody was online. We had some people playing video games with the kids.
Cool Gamer.
And so they were playing video games and stuff. So I wasn't sure if that was the problem. And then tonight, all of a sudden, it feels like there's something going on with our internet. So, hey, Tina Ladybug. Hey, Miss Denise. How are you?
What's going on?
Green Granny 2. Okay. So it looks like we're more consistent now on our.
Everybody give us a thumbs up.
I'm watching the chat in the phone here.
5x5 or howdy do, or let me know.
Howdy do.
Let me know how we're doing.
That's So that's a thing.
Howdy do, yeah.
Howdy do. Oh yeah, Troy told me he found my doppelganger in Maryland for real.
Maybe it was your family.
I was like, what? I thought I was one of a kind. He's like, oh no, you're one of a kind.
Definitely one of a kind.
Hey, Rich Cat Ranch, how are you? Hey, Dave said his seems to be okay. Texas Carnivore says his is good.
Yeah, we've been having some issues with
the past 2 days has been really bad. It's been really bad.
Which is ironic because they just started pulling fiber down the road for a different provider. Now all of a sudden, the one that's underground
is giving us issues.
So
howdy do yeehaw, she says.
Yeah, I think Dad would know all about
howdy do.
Howdy do, right? I mean, you
think that's what he said?
I don't know. I don't remember where I heard that, but I remember I heard it from somewhere. That's what I remember. 12 Stone
how are
Ranch.
You?
What's going on?
So we got to meet Byron in person this past weekend.
Yeah.
It was so cool. It was so nice to meet him in person. It was great. And he stayed and helped clean up and everything too. So sweet.
He did. We're going to talk a little bit about our meetup that we did with Nanya, Texas on the back 20, and then also
Little Frenchie.
And from over at Little Frenchie. Jesus Loving Homesteader was there.
Yep.
We were there. I'm trying to think of who else.
There was a bunch of really fun people that we got to meet, and we got to meet 12 Stone Ranch. We got to meet the couple that are coming on here tonight. Yeah. Two Doves, Bees, and Garden. It's like a lot of things coming together, but super nice people. I was really impressed by some conversation we were having. It was a really good conversation all around, except for when Eric and Byron were making fun of me, along with Nathan, which is pastor, Jesus Loving Pastor, or Jesus Loving husband of Jesus Loving Homesteader. That's what I call him.
Wait, what?
Jesus Loving Homesteader's husband. It's Jesus Loving Pastor, I think is what it is, or something like that.
You're starting
Nathan.
to confuse me.
Yeah. Anyway, they're making fun of me. Super not fair. I'm sure Troy would have got in on it if he was there. And then Rich from Old Sweets Farm, they would have had a field day. Rich Cat Ranch, good day, but still no sign of Dublin. Oh, that stinks. She's a big girl, so something took her. I'm kind of worried about the rest of the flock. She must have been away from the geese. Oh, that stinks. Sometimes animals go away and they don't come back right away. So maybe it'll come back a little bit sooner than later. So, oh, that stinks. Sorry, I was looking at something.
I feel like I'm out of something here. I'm missing something.
So I thought it was her. I'm kind of worried about the rest of the flock. She must have been away from the geese. So Rich Cat Ranch lost one of their animals, and she didn't show back up when it was time to be put away. Hey, y'all need help. I've been fighting some stomach issues. God bless. Oh yeah, feel better. Yeah, 12 Stones. Yeah, Byron. We know it's Jesus Loving Homesteader, but but Nathan is like Jesus loving pastor or something like that on here when his name comes on here. And that's why I was saying, I don't know what it was that I can't remember what his name is on here, but yeah, he comes in another name. So let's see. If she's not back with the ducklings in tow in 28 days, I'll know she's gone for good. That's true. That's true.
Hey, you tell them about the turkey.
Well, that's the thing. So that's what I was thinking. You know, some ducks, some ducks, some cats, some chickens, some turkeys just disappear for a while, and then they come back ready to hang out with all the rest of them. So we had a turkey. Her name's Brownie. My son named her. And she's like this really pretty, like shades, all these different shades of brown.
She's brown.
Yeah. Sorry, there's a fly in here. There's a little Louie in here flying around. Anyway, so she disappeared, and she would disappear, and then she would come back, and then she would disappear and come back. And finally, after she did it like 3 or 4 times, she disappeared for good. Like for good, for what we thought was for good. And I want to say,
why are you saying it twice?
Because it was like, that's how for good it was. It was.
But if you say for good, doesn't that
we
imply
thought for
that
sure
it's
she was gone.
For good?
Like gone. No, you have to say it twice.
Why are you repeating yourself?
Because what happened was she disappeared at the same time.
Disappeared?
Yes. At the same time as one of our other ones disappeared. And that one we saw feathers and all the stuff. And so we were pretty sure she was dead.
Like dead.
Like super dead. And so we figured that Brownie had the same fate.
Wait, why are we not?
She showed back up like literally like 5 weeks later or 4 weeks later, whatever it was. She showed back up with like, I think she had like 8 little baby turkeys, little turkey poults.
That's for real.
Super excited. Yeah. And then we like put her on lockdown because she would always escape and like go across the street and try to lay outside of the coop. So you never know. Sometimes they come back. So, yeah. Sometimes they come back, and they come back with babies. So hopefully she'll come back with some babies.
Well, there was some leading up to that too, because right across the street from our house is like a ditch line. There's a lot of like high level grass. The neighbor,
it's really nice to hide there.
The neighbor on that property, they cut kind of like 4 or 5 feet off of the fence line, I guess, so you can, I guess, kind of creates like a barrier so they don't have to look at people.
And see, Rich Cat Ranch said I haven't found any signs, no feathers or body parts.
Well, that's what I was going to say is because our kids are homeschooled and stuff, and Monica's home with the kids. At some point in time, they noticed Brownie just like kind of like meandering through its different parts of the day. And everybody knows what chickens and ducks look like when they're sitting on a clutch of eggs.
They look like they've been not showered for 2 weeks.
I was going to say they look like stay-home moms.
Hey, no, we don't go there. Hey, Carps Homestead, how are you? Hey, LG Homestead, how are you? Chuck PC's here.
Chuck
how are
PC,
you doing?
What's going on,
Miss
man?
Emma's here. There is a fly flying around in this. I'm going to tell you what. It rained at the end of August 22nd to be exact. It started raining. It rained for a few days. The ground got what it needed. The earth was thanking God for the rain. We were thanking God for the rain. And all of a sudden, every single fly baby that could have been laid or was already waiting to like reemerge from their like slumber, all the flies have come out. They are disgusting and they are everywhere. And I literally, it's the most horrible thing. They're everywhere. They're just everywhere. We have one here. What? Yes, I know.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at the screen over here and there's a thumbnail of a different video that is very...
Okay, stop.
I'm sorry.
Anyway,
it's creepy.
So anyway, needless to say, there are flies everywhere and it's driving me nuts. Today, I think I killed like 6 in a pile. And then immediately like 6 more flew around me. And I was like, that's stupid. They're just everywhere. It's disgusting. Ugh. And mosquitoes too. The mosquitoes are bad. Very bad.
Oh yeah.
And the ants.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The ants are crazy. I love my mom to death.
Hey, Tiny Tim, how are you?
I love my mom to death. And this is absolutely one of the funniest things is when she's like baffled how the ants get into the house.
Hey, Gwen.
I think that she thinks it's watertight.
No, like nuts, for sure. Lori, nuts. Not just nuts, nuts. Hey, Raquel, Cottonwood Ranch is in the house. Guess what? Her birthday's coming up. I'm going to be over there on Cottonwood Ranch's channel on Monday for Monday Maggin. It's going to be fun. It's like trivia or something.
Monday MAGA?
Maggin. Not MAGA, Maggin.
What is, I don't understand what
Maggin
that means.
Monday.
Is that
I don't know,
is that
but
a
it's
Canadian
fun.
thing?
Maybe. Mag and Monday. I don't know, but it's fun. I like going over to Kel's channel, so it's fun. Hey, Miss Doris, how are you? She said she saw your shirt about the rain finally coming. Yep.
Amen, sister. I needed that.
They are monetized. Who's monetized? Sure. Who, us? Are we monetized?
Oh, hey, Mom's in here.
Yes, so we're monetized.
We're not going to talk about the ants anymore that Mom's in here.
Yeah. Chat incessantly, Old English. So Megan means chatting incessantly. She knows how to spell big words. I do not.
I don't think MAGA is a big word.
Maggin. Maggin. Maggin.
Okay. I don't know why you're getting so aggressive with me tonight.
So I saw Jesse and Lisa's video of when they arrived at the homesteading thing. Yes, I was sitting through commercials. Sorry. They were actually there before we were monetized. Super stupid.
Who?
The commercials on our thing. I sat through them when I was watching one of my stuff like weeks ago before we were monetized. Spell that again. Magging. Maggin. I'm pretty sure that's what it says in there. Anyway,
Wait, is it double G?
Yeah, 2 G's. Maggin. Anyway, I saw a video on Jesse and Lisa's channel. I was watching them. They went like across the country to the homestead thing that they went to, the picnic thing.
Uh-huh.
One of the things.
It was in Kentucky, wasn't it?
I think they were at the Kentucky one.
Okay.
There was a couple of them happening over the past few weeks. So they went to that one this weekend, and he saw Tiny Tim Posey, and it was so funny because like he is such a big dude. Like he's so tall, and I'm just like, I love that so much that he's Tiny Tim, but he's so big.
Tiny Tim.
Yeah.
He's
like such a tall guy.
What is that called when you're using a word to describe something, but it's like oxymoron, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Where's all of our English folks out there?
See, Megan, she spelled it. I have commercials and I'm nowhere near anything. Yeah, it's super maddening. Madding. Maddening. It makes me mad that there's commercials when you don't get paid for it.
Wait, so why is it mag? So you didn't say magging. You said magging.
Magging. Whatever.
Magging.
Eric needs to sit with you during homeschool. I think so, but I don't even know how to spell psyched right. So
magging is incessantly.
Incessantly talking. Oh, that's so sweet. Yes, we're monetized. Thank you, Lori and Greg. Thank you so much, Miss LG Homestead.
Wow, thank you guys so much. You guys are too kind.
What is IR round 2? Wait, was it IR round 2? No, you're like so tall. It was really cool to see how tall.
What does tall mean?
Tim was. Well, I'm only like 5'3.5", almost 5'4". So tall to me is 6 foot or above.
I want to know how.
I mean, for a lady, if you're like 5'6", that's tall to me. So
I just want to say too, if you guys get a chance, go over and check these channels out that are in
LG
here.
Homestead.
Not just because they gave us a $10. You guys are too nice. You didn't have to do that. Thank you.
Byron, they said no, she hasn't come back yet. But maybe she's sitting on a clutch somewhere. That's what we can pray for, that she's sitting on a clutch and she'll show back up. Seriously, Byron, what are you doing? Stop that. Byron is so sweet. He is like the nicest guy. You guys need to go check out Byron.
I am not going to call Byron sweet.
He's going to come. We should probably not invite him to Thursday because it would just be pickle Monica time. But I was talking about inviting you up here a couple weeks from now and seeing if you're busy. And Eric's like, well, we can talk about who we're going to pull up. And I think I'm going to revamp that and maybe not feel like I'm going to get attacked the whole time. But no, thank you so much, Byron. You're so sweet. He stayed till the very end, helping out with everything this weekend. Super nice.
I need him to have him around the ranch. What I need to do.
Extra help.
He didn't complain. He didn't whine. He just asked.
He knows how to fix stuff. I've been watching his channel. So he said 6 foot 6 inches, wear a size 17, 4E shoes, 39-inch sleeves, and an 8.5-inch hat size. That's some serious numbers right there.
Wait, is that you on that motorcycle or a scooter? I guess it's a scooter.
What did you put up on the thing?
When you're 6'6", it's a scooter.
Yeah, probably. Hold on. I'm not.
Just hit live down there.
Hang on. I'm going to hit. Oh, shoot. That's it.
Monica.
Yeah, that's got to be him down there. I'm looking at my screen behind because I have a screen behind. Hey, Nancy. How are you? Sorry.
How come every time I'm getting ready to
say hi, Nancy?
How come every time I'm getting ready to say something, you got to keep cutting me off? I thought we were moving beyond that.
No.
We're not?
No.
Okay.
Oh, Tiny Tim has one of your shirts. Nice. Hey, Miss Jeannie Lipsky. How are you?
Thank you.
There's a fly. I hate this fly.
It
keeps landing on my face.
That is not a gold wing. That's like one of them Razor scooters. It's a Vespa.
Your dad was driving a Goldwing, wasn't he, when he had his accident?
No,
Was he on his? He wasn't on his Goldwing. I thought it was his brand new Goldwing that he had just.
No,
bought.
it was a bike that he'd been looking for a long time. I don't remember.
Dave, was it a Goldwing? Because I'm pretty sure
it was not.
Okay.
Dave,
what motorcycle were you on when you had your accident? If you can remember, ask Sharon. She might remember. My gosh, 5XL shirt. Wow.
My oldest brother is about 7 foot tall.
He is not no 7 foot. It was a Pacific Coast, your dad said. Pacific Coast. Hey, Miss Andale, how are you?
Jeannie Lipsky is in here. I don't know if we said it. Did you say hi? Okay.
I did, because then you were like, you said hello.
Nancy's doing good. Tiny Tim only wears a 5X. I didn't think he was that big. That's why they call him Tiny.
Dude. I'm telling you, he's such a tall dude. Yeah, what? Your dad said you're up at Honda, Pacific Coast Honda.
Yeah.
See, she said hello.
Oh, that was a Honda? I did not know that the Pacific Coast was a Honda. I remember Dad was looking for that bike for a long time.
Are you guys going to Pinecone Fest? I can't read it. At Mount Vernon, Texas, September 23rd to 25th. I don't know. We haven't planned on it.
Where's Mount Vernon?
Are you going to go, Byron? I don't know where it is.
If Byron goes, I'll go.
Oh, really?
No, I'm kidding.
Wow, that's rude. He's like, no, if Byron's going, I'm not going. I don't know. Hey, Zombie Prepper, how are you? So I don't know. I don't know where it is yet. I'm going to have to look into that some more. So we're actually doing a class here. So this weekend, Eric doesn't know it yet, but this Saturday, we are getting everything out of our garage and we're cleaning it out. We are burning like all the boxes. So we've been under a burn ban for, what has it been? 6 weeks. We've been under a burn. No, not 6 weeks. 3 months.
No,
3 months. It was like 3 months. We've been under a burn ban for over 3 months. Finally, the burn ban is gone. It's been gone since I think September 2nd. And then I've been looking forward to all this weekend. Now I have to paint in the pan. The roller got back to me. Try to listen while I paint. Yes, listen while you paint, Gwen. Anyway, needless to say, Byron's going to go. So there you go, Eric. Byron's going to go.
Byron's going. What is it, though? I don't even know what this is.
It's Pinecone Fest. I don't like pine cones. I think Carla's going to be there. She was real excited about it, too.
Carla's going?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'll have to look and see where I think Mount Vernon is a drive.
I'm not going.
You're such a mess. She's not even in here. I'm going to tell her. She's going to literally find you and beat you up.
Carla who?
Oh, my gosh. Are you joking right now?
Let's see.
Mount Vernon, Texas. Anyway, this weekend we're going to clean out. We're going to finally burn all the Amazon boxes.
Let's go.
And everything that's been in our garage. We have so many boxes in our garage. It is ridiculous. So I'm really excited. By the way, I like your logo, Byron. That's really cool looking. I don't know where I've been, why I have never seen that before, but I really like it. It's like a seal.
I feel like that's kind of newer.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I don't think that's what it was when he first started here.
Yeah, Mount Vernon, Texas. I'm going to look it up real quick. But anyway, if we have time, we could go to something like that. I'm excited about going to different places and talking to people and meeting people and things like that. Yes, he said new logo. Okay, good. I don't feel so out of the loop then. Dave said, take the dogs. They'll enjoy the pine cones. Oh my gosh. Yes, he is very serious when he's preaching a sermon. He don't even play. Let's see. Yes. Email me, Byron, because I'm trying to look for where Mount Vernon is. Okay, so Mount Vernon's only like an hour and a half from here, Eric. That's not far. We could totally make that drive. We made the drive this past weekend. Anyway, we're going to clean out everything this weekend. We're going to clean out our garage. And then next weekend, the 17th, we are doing a class here on how to process rabbits through a Northeast Texas homestead thing, like a group that we're in. I think Naked Gardeners are coming to that. And hey, Rich. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and teach on the 24th. 24th, yeah. So this weekend's the 17th. We're teaching on the 24th. Shoot, we can't go to the thing. This weekend's the 17th. We're teaching on the 24th.
Yeah.
Oh, boogers.
Well, here's the thing.
Maybe that's why I said we weren't going to go originally. Oh man.
Here you go. Ready? Let me ask this. How many people have all these plans made out and then they realize once the weekend comes that their plans have to be changed again? Because what Monica's not taking consideration is that we actually, step number 1 for this weekend is get a couple of our cows pregnant checked.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, that's easy because that's morning stuff only.
Okay.
But we have to deal with getting everything cleaned out because we have that class next weekend.
Because
which is the 24th.
If they're not pregnant, then they're going to be delivered.
So that'll be easy though. That's just one
I'm
delivery.
glad it's easy for you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, these are experienced cows, which means they're jerks. They're our oldest two. I never have plans.
That's what I feel like.
Our plans always fill up so fast right now.
I used to have a laundry list.
I'd love to go to the Pinecone Fest.
I used to have a laundry list of things, and then I realized it's better just to have like the top 1 or 2 things, and then backfill with whatever you have time for.
Yeah, but we're teaching the class on the 24th.
Yeah.
Plans are more like suggestions, Liberty says. And see, that's the thing. They were going to do, so Luke and Abigail were going to go with Liberty's mom and go visit Liberty at college next weekend. They were going to go and they were going to go see her next weekend.
Going?
No.
Oh, I thought you said you were going.
They were going to go with Liberty's mom. But Liberty's coming home for family weekend instead. So she'll be in town next weekend.
She just can't stay away from us, man.
She's not going to come over when we're processing rabbits, that's for sure.
Why?
She's not going to come over here.
She's a country girl,
Raquel
man.
says, why does it seem like everyone hasn't been here in ages? You don't recognize people and they don't know you're monetized. Well, no, it was the 12 Stones Ranch logo that's new. I was pretty sure that was pretty new. So,
Beverly, how are you? So glad that you made it in tonight.
Hello.
Thank you so much.
Well, I will say I have been so excited because we did our Spam Timber video.
You know what I'm excited about?
What?
I haven't seen Chuck in a long time. And Zombie Prepper, too. Zombie Prepper came back last week. I feel like it was what it was.
Yeah.
I miss these guys. It's nice. It's nice seeing some of these familiar faces. And then, of course, the newer folks that are coming in. I'm just so,
Well,
Tim. That's one thing real quick. Before you talk about your Spam Timber thing.
No, I was going to talk about Tiny Tim real quick. He said, I really planned to come down to yours and Jake's Expo, but God had made me go to Kentucky for a purpose. Well, that's exciting. And I know God's plans are always better than our plans. So that's always a good thing to follow what God wants you to do instead of what you want to do. So that's cool. And you know what? We're hoping to do another one soon. I'm trying to get these people on board, him and Ann and Jake. I think Jake and I have a date in mind, but Ann and Eric have to give the go ahead at least to make sure that we're good for that date. And then we'll announce when the next skill share is, because I'm really excited and it's going to be a little closer to us this time.
Well, I mean, look, this is
the thing. Anyway,
let's just talk about that.
I want to do rabbits, but I will be able to do the kill. You can do it.
Let's do that for a minute. You want to talk about the weekend?
Yeah.
Okay. So actually, Lori, I do have a video about how we process the rabbits, and I show everything that I use and how I go about doing it. But it's
really thorough.
It is a very thorough video. It's, I think, about 17, 18 minutes long, but I wanted to make sure I explained how I do what I do. And that was one of the things we did at the Skillshare. So I use a pellet gun, and this was funny. I'm going to tell this story. Regina, hello, how are you? I'm so glad you made it in here. Okay, so typically when we dispatch our rabbits and we raise rabbits.
Hey, Drops. Sorry, I want to say hey.
Oh, I missed them, yeah. And
I'm going to try to post some links real quick.
Did you say hi to Rich, too?
I did say hi to Rich.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Rich.
The Vineyard Farmhouse?
Hey, Vineyard Farmhouse, how are you? I'm starting to drop some. I'm going to start dropping some links.
I feel like this is a new guy in here as well. And he can't beat that beard. I mean, what's going on?
I know. That's a pretty legit beard.
That is a legit beard. I feel like mine's insignificant.
Oh, he's got like a really cool trailer, too, on his beginning of his thing. So
the name of the video is, I think it's How We Butcher Rabbits or
something like that.
Simple process.
I'll find the name of the video. I'll find the video in a second. Hey, Lazy Days ahead with Jesse and Lisa. How are you doing, Jesse?
So anyway, so we're doing the Skillshare thing this weekend.
We did this past weekend. Yep.
It was really awesome. Okay. And what I thought was really cool about this, and that there's nothing I'm wrong against YouTube Meetup. Please do not take anything I'm going to say that I'm against it at all.
Eric's throwing shade. Here he goes.
Woman, come on, work with me. But
Eric's not throwing shade.
Anyway, the thing that was really cool about this was, and I didn't post the video because I try to really be mindful of what I post to make sure that it meets the criteria I'm looking for as well. But one of the really cool things about the Skillshare was the fact that in the very beginning, and everything was very, very much processed out. If you're able to go onto our Instagram page, you can see
it was very planned out.
It was very planned out. You can see everything that was lined out. And the reason why we did the listing the way we did was we did the processing up front. And the reason why was because we took the animals I taught how to dispatch and process a rabbit, and Jake showed how to process quails and chickens. And we took all those, put them in an ice and then gave them over to Monica and Wendy, which is Jake's sister.
Yeah.
And they showed right there from that process how to can them.
Yep.
And I thought that was super cool. So we got all that in the beginning, and then throughout the Skillshare, we were also checking in periodically with Monica and Wendy because we had a competition, if you will. I'll use competition loosely, but Monica was showing how to use an electric canner, and then Wendy was using one of the traditional type canners. And so we were kind of showing the difference between the two, and the positives and negatives, I guess, of both or whatever. So anyway,
yeah, it was really neat to see the differences. And in the end, she processed 4-quart jars in her bigger canner. If she would have put 7 in there, she probably would have actually came to temperature, and it would have been closer to the one that I was using. I used the electric pressure canner, and I filled mine up with 4-quart jars as well. And we both did 4-quart jars, but because hers wasn't completely filled, I feel like it didn't have it wasn't as good of a comparison, because she could have had, hers probably would have come to temperature a little faster if she would have had it filled. But there was only a 25-minute discrepancy between the two when they started. I mean, when they finished, they started at the exact same time, but hers was about 25 minutes slower in the end. And after they both came down from pressure, we were able to put them both basically right about the same time, which was really cool too. So hers actually came down, fairly quick, and mine they both took about an hour to come down to pressure, come down so we could check it out. It was really neat though to see them both. And I love the fact that you're showing it literally right from the processing, fresh meat. And she was able to take 9, Jake did 9 quail. He was able to take 9 quail. Wendy packed 9 quail in a quart jar, and she actually had room for about 3 more. She said she could probably have done a dozen quail in 1 quart jar, which is a really cool thing to see, because I would have never thought you could do that many. And knowing about that ratio would give me a really good idea as a family if we're interested in raising quail, which we had for a little bit and we stopped doing for a little bit. But if it's something that we want to do in the future, then it'll give me an idea of, okay, so if I'm processing quail one day, I probably want to process it on the same day that I'm doing other animals or other meat, so that I can put them in jars at the same time, if that's the way I'm going to go, which I think that's probably always the way I would go. If I was processing quail, if I wasn't going to eat it fresh, I would probably go ahead and just put it right in the pressure canner and go that way, because it's just going to have it. I'm going to have it on my shelf. It's going to be ready whenever I need it. And it's already tender and cooked. So I love that idea. Wait, yeah. Okay. Rich and Holly, there you go. Sorry, I was checking out something.
Okay. So we were doing the processing piece, which I thought was super cool. And I really, really like that idea, because people were really engaged, especially into Jake's presentation that he did, because he brought 9 quail. He was showing how he dispatched them, and
even the kids were like amazed at how he did it. It was awesome.
And I'm not really going to talk about it here right now, but what I'll say is that because he had so many, one of the ladies that was there, an older lady, she was probably like late 60s, and she said, "Is what you're doing hard?" And he said, "No, you can do it if you want to try." And she wasn't willing to try what he was doing. But there was another guy that was like, "I'll try it." So he came up and he gave it a whirl.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to be able to see people doing like hands-on. They were able to really get experience of the processing piece of it. And as we kept telling people, this is how we do it. It's not necessarily the only way to do it. But
Lori, I'm getting you that link right now. I'm going to give you the link for the rabbit processing. Here you go, Lori.
Robert Lonas, hello. How are you? Also, Dysfunction Junction Ranch, hello. Thank you so much for coming in here. Dysfunction, I know that I've seen you before. I don't remember if it's been here or not. So welcome back if you were here. If you haven't been here, welcome for the first time.
Yeah, welcome. So that's the thing too. I got you, Lori. I got it in there. So I think that the idea of raising, so they've raised plenty. They have more than 12 quail. I mean, they have a lot of quail. He just took a handful of quail and brought them to process so that people could have the hands-on and they could do it. If you're going to raise quail, you're going to certainly raise more than 12. I mean, the idea is that it's a quiet meat. You can raise it up in cages. They're comfortable in cages. It's a meat that's not only quiet, but it's very nutrient dense. And they are going to offer I think they're a more nutrient dense meat than chickens.
Yeah,
I think in general,
so.
like the protein levels are different. I think if you look up the difference between quail meat and like chicken, what it offers nutritionally, overall, you're going to, and the turnaround is much quicker. So that's the thing Zombie Prepper pointed out. The turnaround time is much quicker. They can go from incubated to full maturity in 8 weeks. And actually, they can be incubated in, I want to say it's like 2 weeks. 3 weeks, not it doesn't even take as long.
I think it's 15 days.
15 days. It's less than a chicken. So chicken is 21 days. It's less than a chicken, and they can reach full maturity and be completely processed by. I don't even think it's 8 weeks. I think it's is it turnaround quails 8 weeks? Am I right? Yes. I think it's from start to finish 8 weeks, like or 12 weeks total. It's very quick.
Yeah.
And you can keep them going quickly. So they take less time than rabbits. They take less time than chickens and ducks and turkeys. So they are an option for people that want to raise food off the ground and, do it quietly there.
So somebody had asked earlier, I think it was Regina had asked about
my Instant Pot.
Is it
like, no, it's like an Instant Pot. It looks just like an Instant Pot. It looks like one of the big 8-quart Instant Pots, but it's not. It is a Carry pressure canner. An electric pressure canner. It's actually a Nesco Carry, same brand. It's the same company. They own the Nesco and the Carry. So if you find a Nesco or a Carry, they'll do it like that. You don't use the Instant Pot. Yeah, it's not advisable to use an Instant Pot. The Carry electric pressure canner is good for small batches. You never put the water over the top of the lid. Exactly. It's really self-explanatory. It's really good. I can water bath and I can pressure can. Good night, Miss Doris. Thank you for coming. Oh, be safe. I'll be praying for you. Okay. Rheumatoid arthritis. Ugh, that's rough. But I love the electric pressure canner. I like it because it's small batches. I like it because I can get leftovers. Like tonight. Yeah. She loves the canner.
She likes to can water.
I canned water.
It wasn't as exciting as Anne's.
It wasn't. I literally watched her can water. I know I've said that before, but no, I like ours because like tonight I made soup, which you all know is Eric's favorite. It's Soup-tember, which by the way, go check out Miss Ann Dale. She made hamburger soup for her Soup-tember. There's a really fun collaboration right now and it's going on. It's called Soup-tember. We're not in it, but it's fun. Anyway, lots of our friends are in it, and I love that. And so it's actually hosted by Mennonite Farmhouse. So go check that out. But no, the pressure canners are great. There's also a Presto one, Regina. Hey,
Lisa Colovi is in here. What's going on?
So yeah, the electric pressure canners are amazing, and I love canning leftovers. So tonight I did the soup, and I have a feeling it's not going to all get canned air. Yeah,
Hey.
It's not all going to get used or eaten. I know not everybody's going to eat this soup tonight. So I'm going to take it and put it in some pint jars, and I'm going to do 5 pint jars and fill my canner up, and I'm going to have it left over.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
So we're talking about
that's it right there, Jesse.
About canning air. Mm-hmm. I think it was a couple weeks ago. I feel like you weren't at Mom's when we were over there for something. I don't know what it was, but the kids were telling Mom about dehydrated water.
Oh my word. I don't teach that stuff. See, canned air is a real thing. I know it's I know he's good. I know we know canned air is a real thing. They have the pressure can there. Remember the one?
You have dry air for computers and stuff like that. They have.
But I'm not canning air.
They have air for when you get to high altitudes. I know, but I'm talking about dehydrated water.
Oh, ridiculous! These people.
I think they were hoping Mom was going to bite onto that a little easier, but she wouldn't have it. She did good.
Deborah, how are you?
You got to say the last name.
I'm not saying her last name. I'm going to mess it up. He drops that, haha, dehydrated water.
It's the grandkids trying to pick with the grandparents.
I'm not going to say your last name, Deborah, because I have respect for you and I don't want to mess it up. Just saying. I will mess it up. So it took me a long time to figure out how to say Lisa Colovi. Okay. See, there she is right there. I couldn't even say that for a while. So I'm just saying.
All right. So let me tell my story.
Okay.
So.
I'm just joking.
Seriously, come on, woman.
Where's Jake? He's not here to give you a hard time.
So here's the thing. Ready? I will say that when you are, and you know this because you were doing it too, when you have to do things in front of people and it's outside of your normal setup, like all the processing that we've done here, you come to my house, I can do it all day, every day.
Yeah.
Right. But when you go somewhere else, you try to remember all the things you need.
Yes, I
you're
know.
in a weird place. You're not in the same position. And then you're in front of people. Yeah. And so you forget to say things, or you say.
Are you going to make fun of me in a second?
No. So anyway, we had some rabbits. Now, because like Monica said, we're doing a rabbit class for Northeast. What is it called?
I don't know. Northeast
Okay.
Texas homesteading group or something. It's a homesteading group in Northeast Texas.
Yeah, so go look on somebody like Facebook, Instagram, whatever. See if you have stuff in your area, because this group is set up to help educate other homesteaders or people who want to homestead.
It's a really encouraging group. They offer classes every month. There's like anywhere between 4 and 6 classes going on a month, and you can go all around different places. So if you can't make actually they're having a sheep processing class the same weekend we're doing our rabbits, and somebody was like, can we move the sheep class because I really want to do the rabbits and the sheep? And she was like, sorry, the sheep one's already been moved twice. So, but they always have classes offered, which is really cool.
So anyway, so I went out and picked myself a rabbit. Now, our rabbits are all handled. Abigail takes care of them. We've talked about that. She does a wonderful job. All these bunnies are truly so easy to handle, right? So this one in particular, because sometimes when you pick them up, they want to scratch your arms. This one, he's sitting in my arm. He is like the nicest rabbit. So I get him to the place, right? Now, normally what I do is I put them on the ground and I use a BB or a pellet gun to dispatch them. But I just kind of come up in front of them. They don't usually move. They kind of sit still.
Yeah.
This old boy decided to go want to run. Okay. Now, I'm not saying like a run, like a full sprint, but he just started hopping away. And then I went over and got in front of him. And I'm trying to tell the people what I'm doing as I'm doing it. And he kept moving away. And I got in front of him and he moved away a little bit further. He kept going on and on. Now, Jesus Loving Homesteader is there. She's teaching all about medicinal herbs and things like that later on. Okay. Would you know how old is her daughter?
I think she is about 10 or 11.
Okay. So this girl's out there.
She's so sweet, by the way. She love Carmen's daughter.
She is just recording everything.
Yeah, and she's for real too. She's not even a joke either. She'll sit there and be like,
yeah. So
at one point, Eric's like, does she have her own channel? I was like, no, but she needs to get one.
Anyway, this girl's
but she gives commentary too, which is
she's recording everything, right? And every time I look over at her, I'm just kind of like back and forth because she's like, her face is just like the whole time. Now, what I didn't know was she was recording everything I was doing. So as I'm chasing this rabbit, well, guess what? The rabbit went so far as climbing underneath this barbed fence. So what did I have to do? I had to get down, roll underneath the barbed fence, pick the rabbit up, bring it back. I'm like,
and Carmen's daughter has a video of all of it. It's the best thing.
I didn't know she was recording all this. I was so embarrassed.
She came in. I was like, girl, can you airdrop to me? She's like, yes, I can. She like hooked me up. She airdropped me the video.
Yeah. So anyway, finally we get the thing done, but I just could not believe this rabbit would not sit still the whole time.
Yeah.
The whole time. This thing is just running around. It was so embarrassing.
Oh, I'm yawning. Sorry.
And I had to tell people, it's kind of like when you have your kids in the grocery store and they act up and you're like,
yeah,
hey, little Johnny never acts like this. I don't know what's wrong. Maybe it's nap time. Mm-hmm. Right. So I'm telling people.
That's actually an excuse a lot of people use. It's not really.
But so the rabbit's doing this and I'm like, this is the first time it's ever happened, which it really has been. This is the first time it's ever happened. And I'm sure these people are looking at me like, this guy don't know what he's talking about. I'm not processing my rabbits like this guy.
No, for real though. That was the funniest part. Cause I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not even the one he was supposed to get. And Abigail's like, no, I told him to get the other one. I mean, it was fine. That was real fast food. Tiny Tim, Eric's fast food. Hey, Jake. Well, I think the sweetest part is at the end. So yeah, needless to say, we processed, he's getting it done. And I'm watching the videos that Carmen's daughter took. And I'm looking at it later and I'm like, no, she didn't. Right. So she's a video and it's sweetest thing. Right. So Eric finally processes, he puts the bunny down and the bunny's on the ground and it's kind of just laid there and sweet babies. One of Jake's girls comes over and she's like, are you okay? And Carmen's daughter's like, no, she's not. It's like she's dead. And I was like, oh! And the conversation between these kids, it was like, I shouldn't have laughed, but it was so funny because Carmen's daughter was for real. She's like, no, she's not having a good day. That rabbit's not having a good day. I know. I'm sorry.
Hey, well, at least it's not this all night.
I know. I did just wash my face too, and I made sure I used good stuff so it didn't get to me. Anyway, needless to say, it was the sweetest thing because poor Jake's girls were like, are you okay? And yeah, we were like, yeah, they're hookies. It's okay. It's fine.
Hey,
It'll be
look,
fine.
and this,
But they were so sweet. It's just the innocence of kids, but they were all interested and seeing the process. And we were, everybody out there, Jake, Eric, all the adults were super respectful. I think that that's the best part about it. This is something that we want to do to teach our children and future generations that these things are necessary. For some people, not everybody does this and not everybody chooses this, but I want my kids to know how to do these things. So if something does happen, they know how to do it. People say all the time, well, do you process your pork and your, beef at your house? No, we don't. We do take our beef and our pork to the processor. We take them to the butcher and we do it that way. However, we know how to do it so that if we have to, we can. And that's the most important thing for us, is knowing how to do it. But yeah.
And I think that's one of the cool things I think that's one of the cool things about Jake, because Jake's mindset is always on what if you don't have. That's where I was getting at with the contest earlier about the electric canner opposed to the the traditional style, because Monica was giving her spiel about the electric canner and how easy it is and all this. And he comes up and he grabbed the microphone and he's like, that's if you have electricity.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
but when the electric goes out, you're not going to be able to do that. I was like, you leave me alone. And I grabbed my electric canner and I walked away with it like it was my baby. But the good thing is if you make a decision and you decide now to prepare while you do have electricity, while you do have access to these things, then you can prepare yourself for a time when maybe you don't have electricity. You make a decision, you do with what you have. And I think that that's important too. So if all you have is an electric canner right now, you do what you know with what you have and make the decision to start doing those things now to prepare. So fill your pantries up, fill your closets up, whatever it is, get stuff in there because now's the time to do it. And Dysfunction Junction Ranch. I don't know. I know Byron from 12 Stairs Ranch is going to the Pinecone Fest. I would love to go to the Pinecone Fest, but we actually planned our rabbit processing that day. And I didn't realize it was the same weekend. So I'm kind of bummed right now.
Maybe we'll just do like a speed class.
I have to cook. I'm cooking nachos for people. Hey, Rochelle, how are you? If electricity goes out, I'm trading my dehydrated water for generator. Good idea, Rich.
There you go.
Dehydrated water is going for the generator.
There you go.
Top dollar.
That's what I was going to say, because when Drop said something about the highlighted it here for a second here, where he said that if the rabbit goes under the unpruned rose bush, let me tell you something. I don't know whose fence line that was, but that's somebody who does not have little animals, because the bottom rung of that barb,
Eric was able to roll under it and roll back.
it was like a foot and a half from the ground level. And I'm looking at it as I was watching them get closer, because, you didn't want to like panic and like run over there. But this little rascal, man, he just took off. And I'm like, if that barb had been lower to the ground, I was either going to have to get a kid to go over and get it.
We're going to have to try.
Or we were just going to have to let him run free. And somebody had even said, they were like, I think he earned a stay of execution or something like that. They yelled out from the crowds. Mm-hmm. So.
LG says, Monica can hold Johnny with time while you shoot. No, I'm not doing any of that. They normally sit and they chill out and they eat their little grass, little bunny teeth, looking all cute, and Eric ends it. Well, I'm inside usually waiting with the bags and the marker and the water.
We also learned that if you use one of those little playpen things, is that what that is?
Oh, yes. It's kind of like a dog. Well, you can use it for kids or dogs. It's like an animal kind of playpen area where you put them together. We have the plastic ones. And if you put them in there, then you can keep them located to an area. We should have taken the plastic playpen.
Didn't think of it. But yes, that's what happens when you're outside of your area that you typically do. Yeah, that's
true. Yes, I would love to be able to come. I'm telling you what. Yeah, Eric had the best roll on the fence I've ever seen. He's a true pro.
Oh, I handled it. Let me tell you.
He was just afraid that the rabbit was going to go too far into the woods and he would never get it.
No,
I was ready to can some rabbit, okay?
You know what it really was?
What?
What I was most concerned about? So Monica wanted me to wear this butcher's apron so that I didn't get blood on my shirt.
Well, Jake got a ton of it all over his shirt. He should have wore the apron.
So here's the thing. Ready? My biggest concern going over under that fence was catching my shirt on the barb, and then you make some kind of comment like, "Well, there you go. See, brand new shirt. You ruined it already."
Mm-hmm. I would have too.
Not that you sound like that, but
right. That's his voice for me anyway. Yeah, he saw my boss's Saint Bernard eat the front end of a large jackrabbit in one bite the other day. That don't play. That's a
Wow.
non-playing around dog.
I'm surprised the Saint Bernard can even catch up with a jackrabbit.
Well,
We've had our blue heelers chase them through the yard. I mean, they don't come here anymore, but when we first moved in, them blue heelers are fast, man. I'll tell you what, they almost had that jackrabbit.
Yes. Well, I will say our weekend was packed this weekend. It was really fun to the point of like we learned so many things. I'm super excited about trying to do it again. If we do it again, it's going to be hopefully a little bit different. I guess we're going to do a different location, and we're going to have a little bit less packed in. I think that's what we're going to go for, is less packed in and a little bit less information in one day. I was laughing and thinking to myself, man, Eric sure is walking nice and slow for his ride to be running off. I would have been running and yell, come back, dinner.
Hey,
yeah.
Look,
he was playing it kind of cool. I
was
video.
because I didn't want to act like an idiot. I had to play it cool.
Yeah.
When things don't go right, you got to keep calm.
If you ain't getting blood on you, you're not doing it right, Jake said. Hey, Teresa, always guarding and prepping. How are you? So yeah, that was really cool though. And we did, so the guys did the processing of the animals. We put them in some cans and some jars. We got a bunch of quarts done. So we did that. And then we were able to do, Anne from Little Frenchie in Big Texas did an incubating class. And then she talked about food preservation beyond just the canning. She explained about, the just different methods you can use, the dehydrating.
I thought that was cool too. What is it called? The cryo, whatever it is.
The freeze dryer?
Freeze dryer. There you go.
The freeze dryer. So the freeze dried foods, the dehydrated foods, the stuff you can put into jars and then suck all the oxygen out, the vacuum sealed jars. That's really cool too. Like I never would have vacuum sealed crackers or cookies had I not seen Anne do it. So Anne has a video where she's actually vacuum sealing like cookies and crackers. And I was like, wait, what? She's vacuum sealing like food, like crispy things. There's no way. Well, this past weekend, very before she did that, because I had seen that video before, I teach a class at my co-op, and our class was on food preservation is what I have one of the classes on that. And I have teaching high schoolers food preservation. And one of the things we did was we put goldfish into little tiny, like little jelly jars that are half pints. And we put a bunch of goldfish in the half pint jars, and we vacuum sealed. I had all the kids vacuum seal them shut. And then we're going to go ahead and try them out in about 6 weeks before our semester is over. And we're going to crack the seal on them and eat the goldfish and see what they think of goldfish preserved in a jar versus goldfish preserved in a baggie. So I do have some in a baggie that we're going to keep separate, just sit with the same thing. So we have a little experiment going on, but vacuum sealing food in your jars is amazing. I actually vacuum sealed some Oreos, tried them 6 months later, and they were just as crispy and delicious as the first day. So it was pretty cool.
So that was a cool thing about Jake too. I mean, he did a really fantastic job.
Yeah, he did awesome
doing this because
he had goldfish crackers. Sorry.
goldfish crackers. Definitely not real goldfish.
Not real goldfish.
No, he did a really awesome job too, because they brought all these different things to put up on the front so you could see the differences between like vacuum sealing and what was it called again? Freeze drying and dehydrating. They talked about like the nutrition value of the differences and stuff, and the cost too, because that's a big thing for a lot of people is the cost.
A freeze dryer is going to be like $5,000 for a medium. For like, I think the in between size is like $5,000. That's a lot. Well, they only swim 10 minutes. so
that's the thing too, is that what Jake did I thought was really cool was he was willing to share freeze dried compared to dehydrated for people to sample the difference.
Yeah.
So, and I want to make sure I share this because, if anybody's interested in doing something like this where you live, these were just really cool ideas. I think that just kind of
came up.
They just, Jake just had it all pulled together.
Yeah. And he actually got a lady that does CPR. So he reached out to a lady that does CPR, first aid, and she gave a little small CPR lesson, which was really neat. We were able to ask her questions. We were able to try the CPR on the dummies if we wanted to. They had a conversation. Jake did, he basically unpacked his like first aid bag, like a kit of stuff, which was really nice because between her and him, they were able to discuss some of the first aid things that are really important to have on a homestead, or even if you're dealing with like bug out situation, whatever it is, it's just really good first aid. And so that right there in itself should have been like a 45-minute class because there's so much to first aid. I mean, look, we've had to deal with first aid here on the farm many more times than I would like to have experienced for sure. But over the years, I've started adding things to my first aid bin. I don't even have a little kit. I have like a bin, like 2 buckets worth of first aid stuff. And that's something that it's important. Go ahead, talk.
Okay. So I was going to say that one of the coolest things about this weekend, Monica and I were, when her and Jake started texting again about the next date and all this stuff, I got on the phone with her later on in the day. And one of the things I thought was the coolest was the fact that this, even though you had instructors that were coming up, and I'll call them instructors, presenters, we'll call them that. Even though the presenters came up, it was cool because when they didn't know some information, the other people who weren't necessarily instructing, but were sitting there and were very knowledgeable about stuff, they spoke up. And I thought that was cool because that's how we learn from each other, is when you know something and you share it in the group. And so when we first started out, I felt like it was more, especially because Jake and I were first ones up. So we were kind of like the first, I guess you could say, instructors at that point in time, because I was teaching it from a perspective of the people may not know how to do this. But as the day went along and other people came up there, it went from us trying to inform all these people to more of a meeting time for everybody to be able to share. So yes, there were certain people up front having a presentation, but there were people that were able to contribute to the conversation. And I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, I like the conversation.
You know, what I really like is when I'm making comments
and
I know for sure you're not even listening, and you have that generic, yeah, that was really cool. You have no idea what we were even talking about.
Hello, I'm a mom to a lot of people. I can listen and type at the same time. You like that I was able to say, hey, Carmen and Nathan, what do you guys do when it comes to rabbit? Do you do things differently? Because they process rabbit too. And it was really cool to be able to reach out to them and be like, hey, what's up? How do you guys do it? So yeah, see, I heard you. I was just typing other things too and working. Hey, Harvey Black, what's up? Hey, Hat Creek.
Hat Creek Homestead is in here. Hello, hello. Harvey Black is in the house. What's going on? Let's see what we got here. We got harvest right, freeze dry. Get your very own freeze dryer. Okay. Mm-hmm. I feel like Jesse would be good at the ballpark. Get your peanuts.
He would. He'd be so good.
Get your cotton candy.
Yeah. So that was one of the things that Teresa just brought up, and she said, where is it? Where did she say it? I was just looking at it. She said electric canner and a beautiful electric bill. Well, the thing is that I don't have a gas stove. I have an electric stove and oven. And the size of my electric stove is not conducive to the electric pressure canner that I have. It really wouldn't be it's not a good idea. I've tried it before and I just don't think it really keeps it up to pressure. I really could try it again. It's just one of those things that I feel like, good night, Nancy. I feel like it's a lot harder for me to do because of the amount of time that I have to put into it, and I have to watch it, like really watch it. So it's definitely a lot easier for me to plug it in and be able to look at it, fix it, and go. So for me, I don't know that there's a difference really, because I'm running an electric stove versus plugging in. It may even use less wattage than my electric stove. Since my electric stove is old, I don't know what it would use, but the amount of time that I have to keep it on and do, I just don't know. But I can imagine there being a difference really for us.
I feel like it's harder to regulate, and for us, because we are, you know, I feel like the electric canner compared to the traditional style I feel like there's a lot of age that determines which one you want, and because of our age, we're a little bit more fast paced. I feel like.
Well, I think too, honestly, I'm excited to try now that I know how to, now that I feel a little more comfortable, the way Wendy explained it, the way she showed me what she was doing.
She's a great
I feel
teacher,
more comfortable. Yeah. Using the pressure canner, the Presto that I have, the stovetop one, the regular, the old school, whatever you want to call it. I feel like there's a lot to that. And now that she did that, I'm really excited to try it. I think outside, if we can do it with our turkey roaster or an outside type of idea. Get a solar backup so if you have electricity, none of you will. Yes, exactly. So I like the idea of being able to use the propane tank and try it that way. And actually try that portion. Because if I can try it and do that successfully, then maybe I can do a little bit more outside and try something new. Plus, it'll take the heat off of being inside because I'd be more apt to try because you can do a lot more.
Well, that's true, but
in that
you
canner.
have to understand the dynamics of trying to heat something too based upon temperature outside.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, there's just a lot going on with that. So I'll just go next door to my in-laws and use her gas stove, and we'll go that way. And then it won't cost me anything.
I think, and Jake's got a great point. There's benefits to both.
There really is.
That's why it's important to make sure you can, while you're going along in the season, right? Yeah. Not letting everything build up. We're speaking from experience, right? Yeah. Build up, and then it's spoiled or you lose it or whatever it may be. But
wind is a problem. Yeah, I can see that.
But what I'll say is that if you're canning while you have electricity, then when you don't have electricity, you got food.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean, and that's the whole point. Now, if it gets to the point where we're without power for a long period of time, then yeah, that's going to be a whole nother thing.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think that's where we get into more of learning how to process as it's needed, opposed to canning everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I like the fact too that because I have this gorgeous, massively beautiful, old school pressure canner, the Presto. I've had it for 10 years now. I love it. It's beautiful, but it sits in a box, and I've only used it once. And I had a glass top back in Maryland. I didn't use it because I was told not to use the pressure canner on the glass top. I did do a water bath there, but that's all I did. So since we've been here, I really have only used the pressure canner once, and it was difficult because my stove is smaller, and it was just hard. So I just didn't do it. So all I do is water bath can. So since I got the electric one, I actually pressure can stuff, and I love that. I love that we're able to. I'm able to actually pressure can now. So that is worth it to me. That is totally worth it. 100%. Whatever it costs, it's worth it. So
we definitely don't talk about height and age too much.
I think we do.
Okay,
anyway, keep scrolling. I already acknowledged these comments. You're way behind.
Oh, well, pardon me, ma'am.
LG said, Jake, I'm leaving if they start talking about weight. And so, okay, Brooke Cowgirl said, most propane canners advise against using a propane turkey burner. I know people do it, but I think the reason is because it gets hotter than a stove burner and can warp the bottom of the canner. Yeah, and that's something I was wanting to look into before I even tried anything. I definitely am a research gal. I do my research on stuff before I start using. So
yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you, Jesse, for putting the approved canning methods up. I appreciate that. The anatomy of a canner. I love it.
We want to give a special shout out to Lazy Days Ahead with Jesse and Lisa and everybody else who drops links in here. We
thank
really
you so much.
Appreciate everybody that does that. We appreciate.
I love it.
I feel like that was one of the things. We'll bring our guests up in just a second, but I feel like that was one of the other things that I really appreciated about this is just the camaraderie.
Yeah.
The people that, I mean, look, even when Byron was there, it just, I don't know, my mind was on other things, right? So when I went up to introduce myself, he was like, hey, it's, Byron. And I'm looking at him, and he's kind of looking at me. And I think that he kind of was like realizing that I didn't recognize him, right? So he's like, 12 Stone Ranch. I was like, oh, hey, man, what's going on?
Hey, Nathan, how are you?
But I feel like, the camaraderie amongst the people, it was really cool. People that you may not have ever met, people maybe you just met through internet or what have you.
Well, I think one of the things that got me was the fact that I literally saw Byron from across the room, and I was like, I think I know that dude. I was like, I know him. I don't know where I knew him from. So I just kept like looking at him, and I'm like, then I was like, hi. And then I was like, dude, I know that guy. Where do I know him from?
Well,
totally didn't even occur to me. And then I said something like, that right there, he's like 12 stones. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, that's who it is.
Well, what was cool about it is I played it off like I knew who he was.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you did.
That's 12 stones. That's rude. How do you not know who this guy is?
Yeah. He said, I wanted you to feel all the awkwardness before I told you who I was. Just kidding. LOL. No, for real though. I literally I was like, I know that guy. Why do I know him? Totally was doing that. And I was like smiling, like, I know that guy, but I need to go up and say hi and ask who he is. And I probably actually had a conversation or at least said hi at first. And I don't remember, but I was like, oh. And then when Eric said that, I was like, yes. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I would say overall, if I was rating the weekend, I would say 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking for sure 9 out of 10.
Room for growth.
Yeah, it was perfect. It was so good.
Room for growth.
Hey,
and learning some of the other ins and outs of things.
Yeah.
So
well, I think that's the important part is that next time we need to charge money because we don't want people taking all the brunt of the cost. That's not fair.
Wasn't Jen supposed to stop by and see us or something?
Jen's people got the Jeeps. They got a little sick or something. They weren't doing that good.
Oh, you said the Jeebs, like
They were, like,
they were
sick, like,
afraid
they
of
got-
us or something.
No. Hey, Carmen, how are you? Carmen was there. She did amazing. I mean, like, amazing.
Oh yeah, I want to tell this real quick, and then we'll bring our
I
guests.
know. Our
up.
guests are just
Listen,
waiting.
this
in
was
the
the
wings.
funniest thing. Carmen, if you haven't had a chance to go over and check her out, go check her out. Okay. Here's the thing. If you just look at her community tab, you clearly know that this is a woman who understands what she's talking about. She's not just making stuff up on the fly.
She's literally one of the smartest people I know.
Okay. All right.
So smart.
That said, before we got up there, she brought a little science project, aka her little bifold cardboard cutout thing.
It was so cute. She had two
And
of them. They were so cute.
I'm like, what? Where is your presentation? We're supposed to be having presentations here.
You did not tell her we were supposed to have presentations.
Yeah.
You're so rude.
Anyway, so she has her cards. All right. So she looks like some kind of old school preacher getting up there with her little cards written up, right?
Mhm.
And she's got them like the little hole in the corner with the little clip thing so that they don't get out of order. And so I'm
She's
like,
a smart lady.
yeah, I'm getting the giggles about it, right? And so
Good night, Lori.
she's like, yeah, and thank you again, Lori. We appreciate you.
Yeah, so much.
Anyway, so she's like, I don't know what to say if I don't have my cards. This girl got up there and she just went off. She looked at her cards like 3 times. And when she started looking at her cards and when she started stumbling over her own words, but she was like telling like the Latin words for the herbs and stuff like that. And like telling you all about your anatomy and what you need to eat so you don't get gassy and stuff.
She said he isn't rude. He's Eric. Eric, rude, bland. Yeah, this fly is ridiculous.
The fly is rude. All right, look, let's call our vets. Our vets.
Earlier, I literally went like this to show one of the kids that there was. I was like, "Look, there's a fly over there," and there's another fly that came around and landed on my finger. I was like, "Well, that's rude." These flies are very, very, just bold, very bold.
All right, so we're going to add our guests here, and as I'm adding them to the stream, you can introduce if you'd like.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Okay. So this weekend, for everybody in the chat, this weekend we got to meet a bunch of new people to us, and we got to meet Sarah and John. I said your names right? Okay,
Yes.
good. Because like literally all day on Saturday, I thought Sarah's name was Cindy because it was so loud that I kept saying her name was Cindy in my mind. And then later on, I'm like, I don't think that's her name. And then I went and when I found your channel, I was like, oh my gosh, her name is Sarah. I knew I wrote the wrong name down because like in my mind, I was like, I don't think that's right. But it sounded like Cindy. Maybe it was Cindy. I'm just going to write down Cindy. Yeah.
Well,
But when I saw your,
I was going to say one of the things that I noticed, which was kind of interesting, how many people were that were there actually came from Maryland.
I know
It was
we met like I think 4 or 5 other people that were from Maryland or had lived there or had, spent time there. And I was like, are you joking me? There's a lot of Maryland people here.
Yeah, there was. Yeah. I was surprised. So I'm from Maryland. I grew up there. So
that's the craziest thing. Okay, so where did you grow up in Maryland?
Outside of Annapolis, Deal, a little town in Deal.
Yes. So my mom lives in Severna Park now.
Okay.
And then we had friends and family that lived in the Deal area. And the funny thing is when we first moved here, we were here for maybe about 6-8 months. And a friend of mine in Maryland texted me and she was like, hey girl, I have some friends that are moving to Maryland. I'm moving to Texas from Maryland here, just good friends of mine. We used to work together. And, is there any way she can get in touch with you? And I'm like, sure. So I said, well, where's she looking to move to Texas? Because Texas is big. It's not like Maryland where you can drive from one area to another. You can get to the ocean in 3 hours. And that's like, you've pretty much extended your day, right? It's not like that. So needless to say, she's like, I think she's going to move to a place called Terrell or something. I'm like, literally, that's where I'm at. So I talked to the girl. We start chatting. She moves here. She lives just north of Greenville, over actually probably closer to Byron at 12 Stones Ranch. I couldn't believe it. So she moves down here and we become fast friends. And it was just the coolest thing to think. I didn't even know her 6 months ago. And then when she moved here, we just started immediately working together and getting to know one another. And we became, just a community. But it was really cool to see all these other people from Maryland. I'm like,
yeah.
How amazing is that?
Yeah, it's funny. I miss my Maryland blue crab with the Old Bay seafood seasoning. But what's interesting? Most of the restaurants, most of the blue crab comes from Texas. Did you know that?
So that's what I've been told. But the funny thing is since I've been here, I have yet to find actual blue crabs that you can steam. Like, I can't find it here that I could just buy so that we can steam it. All they want to do is boil everything here in Texas. And I love my Texas friends, but I don't like that they want to boil things. That's not fair.
Yeah.
You just don't understand the
Asian
amount of
markets. You need to go to the Asian markets.
I'm going to have to. We need to go to Asian markets, Eric, because I need to find crabs that I can steam and put. See, every year for my birthday, Eric is so sweet. He tells me to go to the store.
I work extra overtime.
Yes, so that I can go to the store and I can buy 2 pounds of jumbo lump crab meat. So I buy the canned crab meat, but this can cost anywhere. Last year, 2 years ago, it was $25 for a can. Not a big deal. This year, it was almost double that a can.
Wow.
What?
I told you. No, he's acting like he doesn't know. I told him. And because I didn't want to buy 2 pounds, but I make this giant pot of crab soup. It's like literally
for herself.
I share it. I just don't enjoy sharing it with people. I make something else everybody likes to do. Hi, bye, Rich. I make something else that everybody likes better than soup. And I'm always like, yeah, you guys can eat this. I mean, if you really want some soup, you can have some. And it's summer. It's August. Like, literally no one wants to eat soup except for me. And so I like sit there and like
no, she does.
Eat it. That's me. I sit there and I just eat it. And I just like consume it for the like 3 or 4 days it lasts. And then it's gone. And then I'm sad. Yeah. But usually I only like to share with Eric. I mean, I will share with other people, but.
No, she won't.
I will share.
No,
it's just you have to get it before I eat all of it.
It's a reluctant share. It's like out of necessity. Like, I guess since you bought it, you can have a bite.
Yes, Nathan. Nathan, that is like my luxury item for the year. That's basically my birthday present. Typically, that's kind of like where I'm like, hey, I don't really need a birthday present. Just let me have crab soup, please. And he's been so sweet every year. He always says, I guess I worked enough overtime that I can pay for your crab soup.
I like how you said right now you told the story that you asked, please.
I did say please. I was very nice.
Please. Please, nothing. You going up in that store and being like, I'm buying 2 cans, whether you like it or not.
No, I'm not. I don't ever do that. I felt so bad. I looked at the price. I was doing my Walmart grocery pickup and I felt so bad. I was like, I can't do this. I'm not buying 2 pounds. Like, I don't even want to buy a pound this year. Never mind. I'm not going to do it. And he was like, no, you can do it. You can do it. The crab. I mean, the fly. This fly is ridiculous.
So since we brought you on, especially because we just met you, but we were very interested to hear what you thought of the meetup.
Oh yeah, we met some really neat people. There was the lady I think you were talking about earlier that got in there with the quail. She went in after they had dispatched the quail, and she got in there to help clean them with the white pants on. I was like, I don't know about that, but she did. She got in there and she was good.
Yeah.
Who was that one?
No, that lady was from her. People were from Maryland too.
Yeah, she moved from Maryland, and they have a place. Oh gosh, I think not too far from you guys out there. Her and her husband.
Yeah, I can't remember their names.
I think her name was Diane.
I think her name was Diane.
I think her name was Diane.
Well, that was the bread lady. The bread lady's name was Diane.
Yes,
yeah, same
lady. Same lady.
Oh, the bread lady. Okay. Yeah. She was from Maryland. And then there was another couple from Maryland.
Yep.
I think that lady had white pants too. She was real tall. Yeah, I'm telling you, the bread lady was amazing. She just kind of came in there at the last minute and pulled it off like a champ.
Yeah.
I mean,
she was sitting there on the table writing it all out. She sent us the recipe, then she sent me an email. Said, I got something wrong here. Fix this.
Oh, yeah. She was awesome. Yeah, Jake said Diane, LOL. Yeah, she was amazing. The funny thing is I met another lady. So then I was meeting people that were actually local to where we live here now. And one of the ladies was like, oh, well, I heard you live in Poetry, which is fine. Small town in Texas. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, well, my friend is from there too. And I'm like, really? So the lady comes over and she introduces herself. Super nice lady. We chat for a minute. Come to find out she literally lives 1 street over.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. That's a small world.
She's like, yeah, I live on this road. I'm like, I literally live right here. I pulled up my map and I'm like, this is my house. She was like, I was like, here's my phone number. If you ever need anything, call me. I'm right around the corner. You could walk to my house. It was so amazing. So sweet.
Cool.
Yeah. And Annette and Kevin with their toddler, they had the little girl with the they're from Maryland too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, this was basically a meetup for Marylanders.
It was Marylanders.
It was really uncanny. So
yeah.
If,
where are you from? Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was a with Jake, since he was the one responsible for putting this together, we let him stay. But other than that, we were kicking everybody out.
Well, did you notice did you see our sticker that had the Maryland and Texas flag? Did you see that on the front table?
I didn't notice it. Oh, there you go.
That's it right there.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought we had my brother-in-law, who's amazing. He's super creative. He had that made for us a couple years ago and was like, oh my gosh, that's the coolest thing. And so we have just kept that as one of our stickers because I absolutely love that sticker. And it was really cool to see how many people picked it up and was like, oh, is this a Maryland flag? I'm like, yes, it is actually. And it was really cool. Yeah. Just confirmation that Texas is truly better. I will not disagree with that at all.
Yeah. My sister still lives back there. She lives down by Solomon's Island, but so we go back and visit. But it's Texas is better, definitely. Although I left Maryland 6 days after I graduated from high school and moved all the way across the country to California, which is where I met Sarah.
Yeah,
she was 16 years old when I met her.
So California is not all that bad, huh?
Texas is a much better place to raise a family. California is wonderful to visit, but Texas is a better place to live.
Well, he met you there, so that was worth the visit. That was worth the trip.
That's right.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, that was a gift for I think Christmas. I think.
Yeah.
Well, so you live just in North Texas here. How long have you been on your homestead where you live now?
Let's see. We have been here since 2007. We actually moved into this house Mother's Day weekend in 2007.
Wow.
We've been in Texas since '96.
Okay.
So we've been here a little while. We have an acre and a quarter right at the top of Lake Ray Hubbard.
Okay.
So, where Lake Levon and Lake Ray Hubbard, there's a little creek that connects them. We're kind of right at the top of the lake.
Yep. Yeah, I go over that way to take my kid too. I know this fly is so ridiculous. It's literally landing in our hair. It's landing on his legs. And we always have a fly swat.
Get one of these.
You need one of these.
We have one. And it's in the other room. I'm going to need to get Abigail, if you're on here, bring me the fly swat.
Just disregard if you see this.
Yeah, just disregard the swatting.
We're swatting the fly.
Goodness.
That's all we're doing.
I knew it was either that or you were speaking Italian.
So ridiculous. This is so crazy. But no, I mean the thing I go that way to take my kids to their asthma specialist. So I'm always over that way. I drive that way quite often, at least a couple times a year anyway. But it's pretty exciting to know what you're doing with your space because like I know Carmen and Nathan, when you look at their videos, it looks like they're on acres of land. And I've been to their house and I'm like, you guys are amazing because their yard is not that big. And it's nice to see what they do with their space. And I was looking at some of your videos and I think it's awesome what you're doing with your space too, to know what you're doing. So you have bees and I love some of your videos because you really have a lot to say about the bees. I love it's like more of a teaching too and some of the stuff, but you're doing bees now. Now, Sarah and I were talking a little bit. Are you going to stick with bees or what have you decided?
That's a good question. We've got a lot going on. Obviously, we're trying to convert. Basically, it's about a half an acre out in the backyard that we're going to try and convert into basically a garden and a place that we can do things like fig tastings and honey tastings and build like a gazebo where we can have people come in and just have a nice evening or whatever. But also someplace we can teach other people too. So the bees. Bees take a lot more work than people think they do. So, and it used to be a lot easier than it is nowadays with varroa mites and just the various diseases, colony collapse disorder, all that stuff. They take a lot more attention than a lot of people think. And then if you have a situation where you get mean bees, I talked about that on a live last past Sunday, mean bees, Africanized bees. But if you get those mean bees, that can cause some issues, obviously, for what we're trying to do and working out there and, wanting to have people come over. So we're going to stay in bees, but we're downsizing a lot and moving. I think we're going to move our bees over to a bee yard that's not too far. It's over in St. Paul. where they're doing some research. There's a research company that's got some bees that they're doing some things with queen, trying to design queens that are better for taking care of mites and things like that. So, I'm probably going to move them over there so I can. That's really close. I can still go and do my bee videos and things like that.
That's good. So, what Carmen was saying that if you decide you're going to do some things with your bees like that, she leads a forest school group. So she's, if you ever want to do a little class on bees, she can always bring her people out to you and do a little field trip to your bee area if you do something like that, or doing those things. But with your bees and stuff, so you're not really getting out of it. You're just going to kind of move them so that you can tend to them in another area.
Yeah, we had at one time over 30 hives back here in a half an acre. And of course, I have neighbors. They're about 300 feet in each direction, back and both sides. And so we have to be careful.
Yeah.
That was too many. And I couldn't in the Texas heat, I just couldn't take care of them the way that they should be taken care of. So we've downsized that tremendously. So right now we have 3 beehives back there, and they're all doing really well. But we're probably going to move them out of the way for now so we can do some other bigger stuff.
Yeah. Now, when you move them, will you still be able to get sorry, I'm going to ask one more question. Will you still be able to get your you'll still get bees. Stop it. You'll still get bees around your garden area, right? I mean, if you move the hives, that won't, because I always think about how, we get bees now because we don't have hives.
They'll get bees as long as they don't put up signs that say no bees.
But I always think about that. I always wonder if people with beehives have like a really, like a much better pollination rate for their gardens. If their gardens are like supercharged because they have the beehives right there. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like you have an advantage when you have a beehive by your garden.
What I've heard is that basically, and we're still kind of experiencing that, but if you have bees on your property, your garden is about 30% more production. So you get about 30% more if you have bees on the property.
So the question they're asking is, how do you downsize bees? Do you just let them go?
Oh, no. They're too valuable.
You can them up and send them off?
I've sold some beehives, and just for example, a beehive that's 2 boxes high typically goes for about $300 to $350. So I sold some and then moved others to other properties. We sell, we were selling some what we call nucleus colonies, which are like starters. So we did some of that, but. Yeah, and then of course, there is every winter there is some die off. So
you'll get some of that so by selling small portions of it, you'll be able to recoup some of the money that you've put out into it. Do you get honey? Do you sell honey?
Normally we do, yeah. Last year we had about 120 pounds, something like that. This year we didn't. This year was a little different because we were gone for a while. We took a trip to Italy. So
nice.
The garden was taking care of our kids. They're not really kids anymore. Took care of the garden watering for us. But that was right at prime time for working on the bees and getting honey and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
And also with the heat this summer, there just wasn't the food for them. So that the nectar they had collected and the honey they'd made, they were eating.
Wow.
So there just wasn't as much for us. So
yeah, I think that's you and I were talking a little bit about that, just about how they really wasn't anything output wise this year, and that we were kind of talking. I thought that was really interesting. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to have you guys on tonight, because I thought it was.
When was I asking my question?
Oh, you want to talk? Okay, real quick. I'll say what I want to say. I thought it was cool because I like the idea when you're talking about downsizing, you're talking about changing up, because I know that Sarah and I were talking and you were talking about just different, about building your garden and the different types of methods you were thinking about. And I was trying to tell you a little bit about, the back to Eden is what like Carmen does. You have the hugelkultur. You have all these different options that you can do. Mm-hmm. And I was telling you about going into Heath to get that compost. I think we were talking about going and getting that. That was me. Yeah, we were talking about going into Heath and getting that truckload of compost because you can go and get it. There's a place Eric has a number for, and you can go get some and kind of start your beds there, raise them up, do whatever you're going to do. But I thought it was interesting because I was talking to a couple different people about just how sometimes you're going through the motions and then you have to kind of pivot a little bit and you have to kind of change up what your plans are because it's just not working for you. And sometimes you have seasons where bees are the thing. And then you realize you want to do something a little different. And so you can take your bees and move it and do what you want to do in a smaller scale and then do more of a garden thing. And I think that was really cool that you guys are kind of saying that because I think that happens a lot with a lot of us homesteaders that are doing our thing. And then we realize there's a different season that's happening and we need to kind of change what we're doing and kind of focus more on this area. And I just thought that was really interesting because that's kind of how I feel sometimes with what we're doing here. Sometimes you just pivot.
One of the things you can do too is, and what we're doing is mason bees, native bees. They're actually better at pollinating than honeybees. So honeybees are about, mason bees are about 90% effective at pollination, whereas honeybees takes a lot more of them to do the same pollination that one mason bee can do. So we put some mason bee hives back there.
So I had a lady that was on our podcast last season, on season 2 of the podcast that I'm on. And
is this your shameless plug?
This is my shameless plug for Round the Hay Bale. But no, she was on our season 2 of our podcast. She lives in California and she had bought some mason bees. She's another YouTuber. She bought mason bees. She had stuck them in the fridge and left them in the fridge until it was time to pull them out. And she bought the little mason bee thing. And she was saying that mason bee pollination rate is higher because she said they're like little drunk bees. They basically don't fly straight into stuff. They like stumble into things and they like bumble and bump. And she's like, they're basically like drunk bees. Yeah. And I laughed so hard. And she's like, I'm not even joking you though. They literally will just kind of bumble around. So their pollination rate is higher than the average bees. And so, they're easier to keep in the sense of what she was doing. She had like a little mason bee thing and she showed it in her video and I was like, what? That's pretty cool. So she actually showed her going into her refrigerator and pulling the bees out of her refrigerator that they were kind of in that little comatose state. And then she was going to, activate them or whatever she's gonna do. But it was really cool to see that she was doing that. And it was really neat to see that that's something that they do. But when she said they were like drunk bees, I was kind of like, that's funny. They were stumbling around and pollinating everything in their sight. So.
Yeah. Well, I saw Nathan that put the Africanized bees. You should go back and check my video out. Now I talk about that. There's you can get some mean bees, that's for sure. It's funny, before we had bees here and we had never collected honey. And I told my neighbors, I said, we got some really mean bees and I'm taking care of them. She says, oh no, we love them. We love the bees. They come over to our flowers and stuff. Well, I saw her the next day and her whole face, the side of her face was swollen. One of those bees had come over and just zapped her right under her eye.
Oh, goodness.
And I told her, I said, I'm so sorry. I said, you get my first honey. And she did. She got the first bottle of honey we ever collected.
Oh.
But yeah, they can be mean. That's for sure.
That's true. When the solution for that is replacing the queen.
Yeah.
Which he did, but it takes time. And so that year, that was in the springtime. And I did not get to go out in the garden in the springtime and do anything because anytime I go out there, the bees would start chasing me.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Now, do mason bees promote the same amount of honey? And if it's, what quality is the honey? Is it good? No.
Mason bees don't do honey.
Yeah, all they do is pollinate your plants for you.
So they're just pollinators.
Yeah, they won't, but you can have them right next to your house. You'll never even know that they're there.
They're much lower maintenance.
Yeah, they kind of look like flies, actually.
That's pretty cool. So Jen and Steve, Good Times at Homestead with Jen, she said, we found some local honey for $16 a pound. Is that good? I don't know.
Well, I can tell you that we sell our honey normally about $15 a pound. So we cut a break. Normally all the rest of the honey we sell at about $1 an ounce. The reason I do that is because if I don't sell it all, it's okay because I like to make mead once in a while. So, which is kind of fun.
I'm trying to think of how much is in my gallon. How many ounces are in a gallon?
Well, there's 12 pounds in a gallon.
Jesse, are you still here? Lazy days ahead. Jesse's so good. Jesse, how many ounces are in a gallon?
Yeah. So a gallon is 12 pounds of honey.
Okay, so so it's 16 times 12. There you go, right? Yeah. Is it 16 ounces in a pound?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. 16. Yeah. Wait, how many pounds are in? Oh, you said 12?
12.
So it's 192 ounces. And you said you sell yours have how much?
$1 an ounce. $1.
So so I get a really good deal then, because that would be like $192 for a gallon, right? So I get a gallon of honey from the guy that's local up here, Sabine Creek, and he sells his for about $65 a gallon.
Yeah, you can buy it at definitely a lower price for more.
Yeah, so it's cheaper for a large amount. So that makes sense. Plus, he has a lot of bees, from what I understand. He's a pretty, he's pretty high up there in the beekeeping world and the apiary.
Is that John Talbert?
I think so. Yeah. So, but his honey is amazing, and I was like, $65.
Ours is better, but
I'm sure yours is probably amazing. But so once you get honey again, you just let me know, because I'll try it out.
Well, I mean, you can have it sold. That's no problem.
Oh yeah. But I think that's the hard part for me, is because when I buy a pound, it'll be gone in a minute. Stop it. But when I buy a gallon, at least I know that I'll have a little bit of extra, because I use anywhere between 2 and 4 cups if I'm using it in a big recipe for our family. All right, go ahead and ask your question. Go ahead.
Oh, I get to. Okay.
Yes,
cool.
you may.
Okay, so one of the things that people talk about with homesteading is beekeeping.
Yep.
Now, for me, and you had touched on already about the amount of time that is put into it. So I've always been more on board with bartering for honey or just buying it outright, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. But my question to you is, for maybe people out there who are looking to getting into what did you say?
Apiary.
That stuff. Right?
Beekeeping, bee gardening, beekeeping.
Yeah, just the bees. When they're trying to get into the bees. What would you say on average would be the amount of time that you spend either per day or per week, or however it's easiest to calculate, just off the top of your head?
Let's see. Normally, in the spring, you want to get into them about once a week, and each hive, it probably takes, if they're doing well, it takes about 15 minutes, roughly. If you're doing just a quick check. If you have to dig in deeper, that can go for a half an hour or a little longer, just depending per hive. And so it's a bit of time. And then once a quarter, about every quarter, you need to really kind of dig in and go from top to bottom. And each of those is probably about an hour to go through every single frame and looking at every single thing.
See, I would hoard my honey. If it took all that time, I'd be like, no, you can't have it. I would keep it all for myself, which is one of the reasons why I'm really bad about when I do my garden. And Eric's like, oh, cool, you made all that pepper jam. We should sell it. And I'm like, no, I put a lot of time into this. Unless somebody's going to give me $15 for a jar, no. Now, I'm not really like that, but a part of me is thinking that. Like, my mind's like, no, you know how long it took me to do this pepper jelly? No.
Oh, yeah.
So I give it away, actually, a lot of times as people come over and visit me. I'm like, here, have it. That makes me happier than selling it for $5 a jar. I feel like when I'm selling it for $5 a jar, I feel like they don't appreciate it. The people that are I'm like, you don't appreciate this. But when I give it as a gift, I feel like there's more appreciation in it. Yeah. Part of me wants to put a little card with it and be like, hi, this took me approximately 6 weeks to grow, and then another hour and a half to can. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, if you talk about beekeeping and homesteading, the biggest movement right now for beekeeping and homesteading is agricultural exemption.
Yeah.
So you can get ag exemption with beekeeping.
What is it though? How many hives per acre?
That's the tricky part. Is every county is different, and so most of the time you have to be able to do the ag. So you're going to have probably 5 to 6 acres minimum. And then depending on the county, like Hunt County, I think it's 5. You have to have 5 hives per acre or something like that, or per 5 acres, and then some number after that. So every county is different. But that's big money. So especially if you're relatively new buying property and you don't have ag exemption, and you're not into cows or any other thing at that point, it's fairly easy to find somebody that will come out and run bees for you. So,
well, if you're ever looking for a place to put some, we can.
You're mute. Oh, you're not muted.
We can oblige. You like that?
Yeah, that was good.
That was kind of like magging.
Magging, talking incessantly.
Well, I'm trying to expand my vocabulary there. Anyway, yeah. So that's the thing for me is I've often offered that to people if they were looking for somewhere to put some hives, but I mean, outside of maybe checking for water or something like that, outside of that, I don't want anything to do with it because I don't have time, with the amount of effort that it goes into. And I feel like, again, that's where homesteaders can really come together to be able to barter that, so that if you don't, maybe you don't have enough land to raise your own beef or pigs or something like that, then you can swap that out. And especially with liquid gold, I mean, you guys could basically buy a whole cow from us.
Well, we did order a half cow this year. So we
I don't remember seeing that coming across the books.
we do have more cows going in this year.
We just met you though, so
I know.
Okay.
Well, Carmen said they put our hive on Nathan's uncle's property and the cows pushed it all over. So that's one thing I'd be concerned about because we do have. Your dad said not on the side of your house.
Well, we got to do that so that mom with the ants and the bees.
Yeah. She'll have the ants and bees. She'll be loving that.
Oh gosh.
But
and ants love bees, by the way. So
they do. They like honey too.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Ants like everything. I woke up a few weeks ago to ants crawling on my arm in my bed. I was like, where did you even come from? And Eric had just joked the night before about eating in the bed. He's like, I'm going to eat in the bed. And that way ants can come all in the bed. Like my mom was talking about over there in her bedroom. And I was like, oh yeah, no, that's not okay. And we laughed. And then I literally woke up and I was like, what is that? 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
He gets up to get ready to work. And I'm in the room. And I'm like, what is on me? And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's a spider. And so I'm smacking it. And I realized they're coming still. And I look and they were just like marching. They were just, I was like, what is that? And I was screaming and I was so mad. So I'm in the room like spraying this natural spray because I don't have any real chemicals. And then I'm angry that I don't have any actual chemicals. I'm mad at myself. I'm like, why did I not buy the heavy duty chemicals? So
you know what? Body spray works great for killing ants.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I have
scented spray. It also, destroys their scent trails.
Well, I had some homemade like vinegar and something spray that I had read that works for just, getting rid of their scent trails. But I'm spraying vinegar now all over the edge of my bed frame, on the floor next to the side of the bed. So now everything smells like vinegar something. And I'm just like furious that they were like crawling on my body and they were on my pillow. And I was disgusted and mortified. And I'm like looking for the force of it. And there was no candy. There was no good stuff over. Like I could.
Why would you even need to say there was no candy?
I feel like if I would,
that makes me know that you're eating candy in there.
I do eat candy in my room. I have to hide from the children somewhere. But that's the thing. There was nothing. There was like not even anything that could have lured them in there, and it made me mad. I feel like if they were going to come, I should have had something good first.
No ants in the pants. Yeah.
Yeah. No ants in the pants. Oh my goodness, we're so grainy. I'm looking at us. Our internet's giving us a hard time. I'm watching us on the screen. Sorry, guys.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. So no, it's interesting. Just to touch, on our trip to Italy, it was one of those things where we stayed in Rome. We took a train up to Pisa, and I was noticing on the way that so many people off the side of the roads, were growing vineyards, olive orchards, a lot of gardens. It was just I was just impressed with how many gardens people were growing in Italy, almost everywhere. There were in Venice, there were rooftop gardens where people were just had little tiny spots, but they all had stuff that they were trying to grow. So that was kind of cool.
Well, that's one of the things. So my work is high-rise buildings, and one of the things that they've been pushing for probably the last decade or so, and trying to be a green building, they utilize parts of roofs as like a natural habitat for things. So even where I work, they have a couple bee boxes that are up there, And back when we were in Baltimore, they actually had a restaurant in one of the hotels that was attached to the building, and they grew their own spices and herbs up there around the well, there was an indoor pool, but along the window.
Hopefully we didn't lose you all together.
You just froze.
Hopefully it's not us.
They
looks
cannot.
like
Oh, there we go. Oh my gosh. I was like, we're getting ready to.
Man, you just
need to take it and put in there. Hey, we're here. Oh, we can't. I'm like looking around, making sure the kids are like everybody's off their internet. It is crazy tonight. Oh my gosh. If we disappear again, just keep talking. It's fine.
that's okay.
Okay.
Well,
It's
I know in Venice, not in Venice, no, Milan, they have those high-rise tower, the buildings where they have trees that are going all the way up. I mean, it's almost like a forest in a skyscraper.
Yeah, we just got to see it for just a few seconds because we went past it real quick, but it was really cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Well, it's fun because honestly, I would love to see more people doing that here, like where smaller gardens or people using their front yard as actually growing things. Eric and I have talked about recently trying to take some of the areas in our yard that normally would just be grass or whatever and using it to put, ground cover, things that could be edibles that we could use, herbs and things like that. I mean, we might as well fill the front yard with clover or, put peppermint and other things in there. Why not? I mean, we don't need pretty grass. This is not why we're here. Pretty grass is not the reason why we're in Texas, to be able to use it for other things. Like Nathan said, our front yard is now our pasture, our orchard. I mean, front yard is now our orchard. And that's important.
It is.
Yeah.
We went to a class last year, I think, on edible landscaping.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the things that I think that was another. I mean, look, the more I talk about what we did over the weekend, the more I feel like I got a lot more out of it, even though somehow I was handcuffed to the desk and I was the only one that had to be on laptop duty. But that was one of the things with Carmen's little science experiment that she had going on, was where she was saying about how she just kind of, takes the, shovel and basically like breaks apart like the different herbs and stuff, and then just replants them. And they're just once their roots are established, they're good to go. And I really thought about that because all of our birds are free range birds. And if they're utilizing those herbs to self-regulate themselves, how much more healthy they would be, because that's what we strive for too with our cows, our chickens, ducks, turkeys, all the animals that we raise. We want them to be at the highest level of health that they can be, because we're going to consume them at some point in time.
Yeah,
exactly.
And so, I know people here in Texas, and you guys can relate because you're from Maryland as well.
No, she's from California.
What? Okay, I'm not talking to her.
Sorry.
What is up with Texans and wanting to cut grass? Why do they love to cut grass?
Yeah.
They cut grass a lot.
And when you have an acre and it's summer and it's 109 degrees and you have to go out there and it takes 2 hours, that's no fun.
Yeah.
No. And it's funny because people will be out there like 7, 8 a.m. and they are just like driving their riding lawnmowers. And I think that's what it is. They just want to get on their riding lawnmower and they want to listen to their podcast or whatever they're doing, listen to some music, and they want to get out and just go ride on their lawnmowers. Just get on a four-wheeler and pay a different amount, buy yourself a four-wheeler and just go four-wheeling somewhere instead of paying for a mower and wasting that grass. I mean, you could do something better than cutting your grass.
Yeah.
My opinion, but
yeah.
Well, I know one of the things we're interested in is doing some teas too. Like Sarah has been making basil tea. She has been really enjoying that. And
it's something that I saw on YouTube. And
basil tea.
Basil tea.
So like what kind of basil? Because I have Thai basil, which tastes and smells like black licorice, and that's a big fat no-no to me.
Yeah,
but also smooth basil.
You can use anyone. She made one the other day. It was a lemon basil.
Oh, that's my favorite.
It was so good.
So good.
Ooh, I like that. So you just dry the leaves and then do it that way?
You use it fresh. And you can even use the blossoms too, which normally you don't with basil.
No.
So, if a plant gets away from you, the tea is perfect.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. Normally, I just pull the whole top. My basil bolts all the time. So I'm always taking the tops of the basil and just like sprinkling it and throwing it around the garden. I have so much basil in my garden. It's ridiculous. Eric's always like, is that another basil plant? I'm like, yes.
It reseeds like crazy.
Yeah.
I love it because it smells good. The sweet basil anyway smells good.
Yeah.
I never really liked it before, but I love the way it smells and the fact that it's by all of my tomatoes. And I know my tomatoes do better with the basil. I know they do. And the oregano. So yeah.
Yeah, so she's been doing that, and then I've been collecting fig leaves to make some fig tea. So I haven't tried it yet, but that's another thing I'm going to be doing. So fig leaves to make fig tea, and then we did spearmint.
Peppermint.
Nice.
We got the big peppermint bed, so I harvested some of that. I think we ended up with three big jars of peppermint. So before I let it go into flower and let the bees have it, but.
That's cool.
But yeah, we're learning, what kinds of things that we can grow and make tea out of. So
that's
just trying to find, especially like native plants that you can make tea out of. And one of the things that Carmen talked about is she's growing roselle. We're doing the same thing because the flowers, like she said, they you can use those for making tea.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really good for you. So that's also something that we're trying as well.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so we partly heard part of that, but I was thinking about, I'm going to go back and rewatch what you're actually saying while we're frozen. I'm sure it's good, interesting stuff.
Well, that's okay. It's funny because you get these kind of funny looks on your face and we just kind of enjoy it, but that's okay.
Well, I have to say, I feel like part of me wants to have Carmen come over here and I'm going to section off a portion of my yard and be like, okay, Carmen, I need this to be medicinal. Can you help me fill in the blanks? Okay. And then I need to take you around the other side and I need this to be, tea area. Help me fill in the blanks because I feel like I know what I want, but I just don't know how to get started to actually do it. And I feel like I can watch as many videos as I want. I can read as many books as I want, but until I actually get my hands on it and start doing it, it's like I'm almost afraid to start doing it to mess up.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I loved about Carmen's presentation because I'm wanting to learn about herbs too. And there's some crossover between them because sometimes herbs you can use as teas.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my favorite teas that I learned about this past year is lemon balm tea. And that is
it's
so
sleepy
good.
time. It's sleepy time tea.
I take that before bedtime, and it's better than melatonin. It works great.
My sister's got a bunch of lemon balm, and I was like, okay, I need to figure out if I can take some of your lemon balm and plant that, if I can propagate that and take some of that, take a chunk of it and put it in some of because I had lemon balm 2 years ago that overwintered itself, came back last year. And then between last year and this year, it died. And I was so mad. I'm like, how did you live 2 years and make it through a bad winter and then you're dead by the summer this year?
Mine did the same thing.
Yeah. I was so mad. I'm like, how did you just survive all the coldness and then die from the heat? That just makes no sense. But my sister's is gorgeous and it's flourishing. And I'm like, I need some of that. Can I take some? So I need to figure out how I can get some of that and put it in a pot and hopefully have it grow here because lemon balm is amazing. It really is.
Oh yeah.
I was inspired from what Carmen said. I don't know if she's still in here or not, but I don't want to beef her up too much. She'll start.
She said, "My phone died. Let's do it." Haha, Carmen. I'm serious. I'll bribe you, Carmen. You can have some beef. I'll give her some. What? I'll give her some ground beef.
Why are you just giving my stuff away?
I'm not. I'm giving my stuff away. You can have some of my portion of the ground beef. Come over and help me plant medicinals and tea plants and make things edible.
Okay, y'all froze again. So
I know somebody was saying that the basil tea wasn't their thing. It is so good with the way we saw they made it with was honey. They used honey. Sarah's been using stevia.
I've been using stevia because honey, the recipe that we saw, we got the recipe from Jess on Roots and Refuge, and they use 3/4 of a cup of honey to make 8 cups of tea, and it's like, oh, that's a lot of honey.
Yeah, That's expensive tea.
And that gets expensive really fast.
Yeah.
So we're using stevia.
Now, do you grow your own stevia?
Actually, that's something I started this year, and it does grow well here in Texas.
Mhm.
Most of mine is doing really well, and I'm discovering that as it grows, I have to prune it like I do basil. Otherwise, I'm just getting one big stalk, and then it's going to flower. So I'm trying to cut it back so that it'll branch out more.
Yeah,
So far, it's working.
Hopefully they rejoin. It looks like they dropped, but
It does.
they're coming back.
Yay, there you are. And now you're not fuzzy anymore.
Yeah.
Well, Eric went to go. Well, it's been going on and off, and Eric went to go like break bad on the children. But I already texted my daughter, and she's like, "Mom, no one is on the internet." It's been the past 2 days have been really bad with this internet, and I don't know why. So anyway, thank you for keeping things rolling. I know I just love this conversation because there's so many different things that we want to do and we want to figure out. And I love that. So wait, I missed the part. Did you say you are growing your own stevia?
Yeah.
Now, are you drying it out before you use it in your tea? Or are you putting it in there fresh?
Actually, I'm drying it out, but I haven't used what we've grown yet.
Okay.
It just came out of the dehydrator yesterday, actually.
Nice. So I'm getting ready to, now when you pulled it out, when you harvested your stevia, did you harvest like a section of it? So I have a big stevia plant, right? It's, the size of my cup. It's big. I'm considering now, I don't know how to actually harvest it without ruining the plant. So I'm thinking, do I cut it halfway up a couple stems? Do I cut at the base of a few outside stems? I don't know why I'm putting too much. I think I'm overthinking it.
You did say at the meet that you tend to overthink things.
I do. I overthink everything. I have 2 plants and they're gorgeous. I just don't know how to harvest them.
I guessed, so I can tell you what I did.
Okay, tell me what you did.
What I did is, for some of them, I just cut it in half, like you said.
Yeah.
Mine were starting to grow buds. So I have one that's actually blooming, and I let that one stay to go to seed.
Okay.
But the others, it's like, okay, this looks like it's growing kind of like basil. And what I said while y'all were gone was that they were just kind of growing in one big stalk and then putting out buds at the top. And it's like, I need to cut this back so it branches out more. Yeah. So I'm thinking it's kind of like basil. So I cut it above a node.
Okay. There you go. Teresa says cut above a leaf node so it will spread. Wait, so how do I know if it's a node?
A node is where the leaves grow.
Okay.
So if you have the stem coming up, there will be a leaf coming out each side, two leaves together, and that's a node. So cut right above the leaf where the leaves are growing.
So then it'll keep growing up, right? It'll keep going up.
Well,
it'll push out. It'll make it branch out, so you don't have one stem; you get multiple stems.
Right. She's thinking about it.
I see that. So yeah, hopefully, like basil, when you do that with basil, it makes it a lot bushier. So I'm hoping it's going to do the same thing with my stevia. So I'll grow a lot more leaves and not just have it try to grow and bloom.
Yep.
So, and then after we get it all ground up into a powder and actually use it, I'll have to let you know how it tastes.
Yeah. Yep. I know that the face that they've got to where she's holding that lip, it's like perfect timing. So it's all good.
There you are.
You're back.
Every time we start talking about stevia, I won't talk about it anymore because we keep freezing. But we can see the little thing on our internet piece, and it's like danger, Will Robinson. It's like giving us a little danger sign. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna try that with my stevia now. I'm gonna start cutting a few because I really want to powder it up. My mother-in-law uses stevia all the time in things. Well, she was using that and erythritol and these things, but I would love to have fresh stevia. And, the people, I had seen a thing and it said, a lot of people don't like the green stevia because it's green powder. They'd rather have the white bleach stuff from the store. And I'm like, not me. I think I'd rather have.
Yeah.
But I had a lady here yesterday with her 2 kids, the lady that does Kelzyme, which is our natural fertilizer. They sponsor the podcast that I do. But Kelzyme is a really, really good fertilizer for your plants and for your grass and your trees, anything you have. It's really good. And it's all natural and it's a calcium-based fertilizer. And we used it on our trees this year, and it's amazing. I love it. Well, we were talking a little bit, and I was showing her kids. I said, yeah, I have stevia right here. And I asked them, have you ever tried stevia? And the kids were like, no. And I jumped in the garden, grabbed a little chunk of stevia, and gave it to the kids. And they were like, this is so good. And I'm like, I know. And then I thought later on, I'm like, I need to do something with my stevia because it is so good. But I know I'm going to lose it if I don't just bite the bullet and get in there and start harvesting it.
Yeah, not quite the same as honey for sure.
Yeah.
I actually thought it when Monica first purchased it. This goes back to, I guess, springtime.
Yeah.
And she'd come home with more stuff for the garden. And so before I could even like reprimand her, if that's the right word, she's like, here, try this. And she put a piece in my mouth. She's like, what does it taste like? And I thought it tastes like cotton candy.
Yeah. So the kids were all impressed. They were all taking the leaves. They were like, this is so good. And they were eating it. And I'm like, so it's cool, right? So I told the kids, I said, when I start to harvest it, you can add it to some iced tea. And then I'll let you drink some iced tea. Because we drink unsweet iced tea. And the kids don't really drink iced tea anymore because I don't make it sweet. Unless somebody's here hanging out with us and we have a visitor, I'll make them some sweet tea. But otherwise I don't. So I told them, I said, hey, we have unsweet. So when we have unsweet, go ahead and you can put some stevia. So once I start bringing it in, I'm going to let them start using some stevia to sweeten their
That'll be fun.
tea. They're going to love it. Yeah. So they're excited. So I'm going to just be bold and not overthink it and just go harvest some stevia.
Well, I don't know if I'd do that if I were you.
No, I'm not. I'm going to do it anyway. Stop it. You're going to make me because I get in my garden and I feel like I have all this knowledge and know all the things. And then I get in there and I'm like, I don't know if you're ready to pick, or I don't know if I should do this, or I don't know if I should do that. I mean, it's not surgery. Okay. It's just gardening.
And it's not the last stevia in the world. So
it's true. I do have 2 plants. So if I wreck one, I won't wreck the other. But I will say that I like to try new things and try things out, but I have destroyed a few plants from trying things. So I need to,
this is one of the things I think that the differences between Monica and I is she's smart. So that's different right there. But she's just not confident in herself. And that's the difference in me. I think sometimes I'm more willing to take that risk and she is not. I mean, we're talking about a $2 plant that she purchased and she doesn't want to wreck it.
Because it has survived the dog days of summer. Like it has survived the heat. It looked like it was about dead. This one plant that looked like it was just given up all of its life partway through the summer. And I was like, please don't die. I haven't harvested you yet. And then I stood it up and I will not snort the stevia powder. I promise. But I will say that it's come back to life with the rain. The August rain helped me. And so I'm getting confidence now. I'm going to go in there and start picking stuff. I did make pesto. Have you ever made pesto? Basil pesto?
Yes.
Do you like it?
I'm still tweaking it to get it where I like it. I think I probably need to add more garlic.
Yeah.
But it's not bad.
What do you eat it with?
What stuff you make? What I like, the yellow. You know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
You know exactly what he's asking you. Stop doing this to him on live.
The yellow stuff.
She makes this other thing that's really good. It's kind of like it's different than pesto, but it's you would cut it with the pita bread.
Oh,
see, I told you.
Now I know what you're talking about. Hummus.
Hummus, yeah, it's the hummus.
I found this recipe for super easy hummus, and it just takes a can of garbanzo beans and a few other things, and you just throw it in a blender, and it's really easy. That lives up to its name, and he actually likes it.
It's the only way I like it.
It doesn't have tahini in it, so but it's still a healthy snack, which I'm trying to do more of. So.
Well, I made basil pesto for the first time last week, and I just tried a real basic recipe. I was following one of these big YouTubers that was like, you're going to love it. It's going to be great. And I made it and I sniffed it and I was like, this smells weird. And I wasn't happy. And then I scraped and the kids are like, what do you make? And I'm like, ooh, pesto, you want to try? And they looked at it and they're like, It looks like they were like, it looks like you blended up grass. And I'm like, it kind of smells like that too, almost. And I felt really bad because I wanted to like it so much. And I was like so excited. And I took like a big scoop of it and put it on a cracker. And I was like, this doesn't taste good. And then I tried it on a tortilla chip and I was like, still doesn't taste good. And then I was like really disappointed. So I like threw it in the refrigerator and I'll just feed it to the pigs probably because I don't think anybody's gonna
Did you use your Thai basil to do that?
No.
Okay, good.
I don't even want to pick my Thai basil. My Thai basil is only for looks. Okay. It is super pretty. And I only bought it because it was pretty. And I'm not going to pick it. I'm just going to tell you, I'm not. I'm just going to let it die off in its black licorice mess because that's what it smells like to me. And it doesn't make me happy.
But it's pretty and that makes you happy.
Pretty.
Yeah, I saw somebody wants a recipe for the hummus. If you find us on YouTube, or not on YouTube, but on Facebook, Two Doves, Bees and Gardens, I put a lot of recipes out there for things that I like. So
we'll do that.
We can put it out there for you.
Okay, good.
Like the cucumber bread. I think, I did put the cucumber bread, which is cucumbers. Everybody's got lots of cucumbers.
Yep.
Did you guys get to try it? We brought some to the meet and greet.
No, I was busy on the laptop.
You probably do you have eggs in it? Do you put eggs in it?
I didn't even eat.
Yes, it does have eggs in it.
You can't have it anyway because he can't have regular chicken eggs, so he can't even act like that. But no, I make cucumber bread too. It's like replace the zucchini with cucumber. Is that what you do?
It's actually a recipe for cucumber bread.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I looked it up, online and looked up cucumber bread and found 3 different ones, and that was one of them.
Yeah, she was saying, I'm going to make cucumber bread, and I'm like, you mean zucchini? Or because there's like different ones. And I said, cucumber bread doesn't sound that good, but it's good.
Yes. So. Well, I make zucchini bread all the time, and then I had all these cucumbers, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with these. I've already made a huge, massive amount of relish, and so I was like, you know what? I'm going to make cucumber bread because if you can make zucchini bread, you can make fried cucumber. I've never had that either.
Fried cucumber is great.
You've never had no fried cucumbers.
No, I'm saying I haven't.
That's awesome. But no, so I figured out the same thing too. Like I didn't know you could make zucchini relish, like sweet relish. And I was making cucumber sweet relish. And then all of a sudden I decided that I could use my excess of zucchini and make zucchini relish. So I was interchanging my zucchini and my cucumbers a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. Beautifully.
Yeah, we grew the Armenian cucumbers, which really is kind of like a melon, but it was so good.
Yeah, Eric loved the Armenian
really
cucumbers this year. We grew a couple of those and then they fizzled and died. But yeah.
We still have one left on the vine, I think.
Yeah, the plant is dead, and that one I was growing for seeds. I'm not sure if it's still good or not. I need to bring it in.
Yeah.
That's cool. Oh yeah, Nellie adding diced cucumbers to our breakfast. Oh, Eric did eat the salad that Carmen brought to us.
I did eat salad.
She did. He did eat
salad. I thought that was really nice, Monica. I was starving to death. You could probably see my rib cage, how hungry I was. And Monica brought me a bowl of salad. And I'm not saying like a bowl of salad. It was a bowl. Like you could put like one hard-boiled egg in it. That's how little this bowl was. I guess she thought that I looked like I was needing to lose some weight.
You needed something.
He already had other food, and I was just trying to keep it real. I was trying to make sure he had something to eat. He was going to be fine. He wasn't going to die. But I did, by the way, Teresa, I did use walnuts in my pesto because I didn't have any pine nuts because I don't live that fancy life that I have pine nuts just sitting on my shelf. I have walnuts. That's the kind of lifestyle I live. Okay. We have walnuts and we have pecans. And
I was gonna say, I know you got to have pecans. Everyone has pecans
because Eric likes to eat pecans for like a snack. So we always have pecans. So yeah.
Do you have the big ones or do you have the native? We have native pecans and they're just tiny little things. So
no.
We have Costco pecans.
We have the Costco pecan.
Oh, okay.
We get the bag.
That counts too.
Yeah, we get the bag already ready for us. My brother-in-law, who's in here right now, they have pecan trees, and they're always like, "We have lots of pecans if you want them," but they cheat because they give them to us like in the shell, and I'm like, "No, I don't have time for that. I love you, thank you for the offer, but I'm not cracking these." And now I know why they're expensive because that's a lot of work.
Yeah,
so
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, Miss Mandel said it's pecans.
Pecans. Yes, pecans.
Pecans or pecans, all of it's the same.
Well, that's
That's
like
what makes
we
me
did
feel
a
like.
video. We were making comfrey tea, and we were doing all the testing. I wanted to see what was in it, and we got to the word potash, or is it potash, or is it potash? How do you say it? It's like I know you were talking about different words earlier, potable or potable. Like, how do you say potash or potash? Or
Yep. We literally talked about that last week too. Yeah. And one of my friends, Casey, he was calling it potash. No, potash. I don't even know what he was calling it. He was
What
calling
are we
it the
talking
opposite.
about?
Potash and potash. It's
I don't even know what that is.
what is it? The ash that
it's
comes
like
off
a mineral. The minerals that you find in your fertilizers.
your lawn.
The
Yeah, it's in
NPK.
Yeah.
So in your fertilizer, you have NPK. That's
It's the P.
yeah.
It's the P in there.
Yeah.
It's the when you test your
No,
soil.
what is it? The K.
It's the K.
It's the
P
K?
is phosphorus.
P is phosphorus.
K
K is
is the-
potassium.
Yeah,
But I
K
guess
is
that is the
Yeah, the NPK.
potash.
Right, that's the
potash,
potash.
however you
Yes.
say it.
yeah, it's one of those things when you test your stuff, it's in there.
Yep.
And
Yes.
so and so you want to have a desirable amount of the
All
Potash.
I know is it's manure. That's all I know.
yes, yes, it's compost is what it is.
That's what it smells like when you make comfrey tea too, by the way.
And you drink that?
No.
No.
The plants,
Oh,
It's for the
okay.
plants.
the
It's
plants
fertilizer.
do.
Gotcha.
But comfrey is really good overall as a really good medicinal plant, so it's a good thing to have.
Yeah, I have to pull my notes out from the Professor Carmen to figure out what the
Yeah.
advantages are.
External use only.
Well, she will though. Honestly, if you're interested in any of those slides that she put up, she actually put them up on her Facebook page, so you can see them there.
Cool. I did take pictures. So
There you
good
go.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is now 10:04, so we are going to have to wrap things up. I can't believe we actually made it through the last little portion of this. It's probably going to start spinning here in a second because I said that. But thank you guys so much for coming on here. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for
our
inviting
pleasure.
us.
I highly encourage anyone out there to go and check out John and Sarah's channel. It is Two Doves, Bees, and Gardens.
Yes.
That's it, right? Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
So go check them out. They have so much information, and you guys almost have I think you almost have 900 subscribers, right? You're like 8 something.
Yeah, we're getting close.
Yeah. So go check out their channel. There's so much good information there. I absolutely love going through and scrolling through some of the stuff you've got going on. And thank you so much. It was so nice meeting you. And know you're local is cool too, because now I know I have another group of people that I can reach out to have questions about things that are, now I know that you make teas and stuff. I've got somebody now that I can reach out to for teas. So that's exciting too. So
Yeah, for sure.
thank you guys.
We're learning anyway.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming on here and putting up with all the internet issues. Thank you, everyone in the chat. And, hey, who likes to make new friends that live super close that make teas and have bees?
Farmers do.
And farmers' wives do.
That's
Thank
right.
you guys so much.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks
You
for
guys.
inviting us.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate it. Good night, everybody.
Night.
877.